Chapter 8:27. He looked at her deeply with his dark eyes. I don't even want to go to tea anymore. I want to look at you like this every day. I've already come back with you. What else do you want? Tea can't go bankrupt. You still have a son and daughter to support. I'll leave this important task to you. Is there a problem? No problem. Even if they're prodigals, they won't be defeated in 10 lifetimes, Di Haotian said confidently. Tang Bao widened his eyes in shock and then said unhappily, They're not prodigals. Yes, you gave birth to them. Naturally, they're the best. Tang Bao raised his chin proudly, indicating that he was right. However, Di Haotian seized the opportunity and bit Tang Bao's little mouth. Tang Bao was caught off guard and was extremely nervous because his mouth was almost swallowed into Di Haotian's stomach. The next day, Tang Bao went out. He contacted Wan Malay and Yu Lianlian to come out for dinner. At the dining table, You're asking us? Bao Bao, you have such a good backer like the young master, but you don't use it. Why are you asking us? Is it fun to give up what's near and seek what's far away? Wan Malay asked, puzzled. I want to rely on my own ability. Yu Lianlian hit the nail on the head. You're already capable enough to be on the young master's list. I'm just giving you guys a reference. I still have to see the details myself. It seems that Mingxia Film and Television is the boss of the entertainment industry in D City, right? It should be good to work with them. Tang Bao pondered. You have 2 popular artistes in your hands. It's easy to talk, Yu Lianlian said. But their opponent, Songhong Media, is also a powerful player. It's not certain who will be the boss. Songhong? The company I used to work for seemed to have a good relationship with Songhong, Tang Bao said. Otherwise, Liang Jichao wouldn't be so famous in Boiling City. He still had some ability. So, you choose Mingxia? Wan Malay asked. No, I choose Songhong, Tang Bao said. I'm going to faint. You're going wherever there's difficulty? But I think that if Songhong's CEO knew who you are, he would give you all the resources. Yu Lianlian smiled happily. However, if you're looking for me, then you've found the right person. My resources can also be used. Okay. When the studio opens, I will definitely not hesitate to ask for your help. Tang Bao smiled. Okay. Baby, where are you going to open your studio? Wan Malay asked. I'm still considering it. Why don't we just rely on Kuchen? Wouldn't it be more convenient for us to meet? Wan Malay was elated. Have you asked Hiju? Tang Bao asked. Wan Malay was stunned. You're definitely a scammer. She did not even get even with Tang Bao for betraying her the last time. If you want to rely on someone, you should rely on T. What's the use of relying on Kuchen? Yu Lianlian smiled ambiguously. I'm not going anywhere. Tang Bao looked slightly uncomfortable. Don't even think about it. You're still so thin-skinned? Yu Lianlian looked at Tang Bao's blushing face and joked. Tang Bao was about to say something when his phone rang. It was Di Haotian. Why was he calling? Did he not know that she was busy now? Yu Lianlian and Wan Malay looked at Tang Bao's expression and knew who was calling. I'm going to take a call. Tang Bao stood up. Go ahead. Yu Lianlian and Wan Malay were happy to do so. Tang Bao walked to a corner to answer the call. What's the matter? When are you going back? It's still early. Come to tea. We'll go back together. Why do you want to go back together? Do you need a reason? Di Haotian's domineering voice came through. Tang Bao's mouth twitched. He did not need a reason? It might be a little late when I go back. You can go back to the castle first. I'll wait for you. I'll wait no matter how late it is. Tang Bao thought that Di Haotian was determined to go back to the castle with her. Why did he have to do this? Was it more interesting to go back together? But she still agreed. Di Haotian was so domineering. When she returned to her seat, Yu Lianlian and Wan Malay did not ask anything. They just had smiles on their faces. By the way, Bao Bao, why don't you bring the 2 children out to play? They haven't played in D City yet, right? There are many fun places, Wanmale said. Them? They might only be willing to stay in the castle recently, Tang Bao said. She wanted to bring them out to play first. Then she would prepare for work. Who knew that the two little guys were not done playing yet? What's wrong? Di Haotian built an amusement park in the castle. Today, a pony arrived. Do you think they'll come out? Tang Bao said helplessly. They're so happy. Wanmale was envious. You want to play too? Tang Bao laughed at her. Who wouldn't be envious of such a childhood? Wanmale said seriously. I don't have it either. Tang Bao said. You don't need it now. Let your children play for you, Yu Lianlian said. After Tang Bao finished eating, Yu Lianlian and Wanmale returned to the company. She wandered around D City alone. Then she went to the harbor. But she found that the harbor had returned to its previous appearance. The water rippled and the blue sky was clear. Tang Bao stood on the beach and was a little lost in thought. She only mentioned it to Di Haotian before, and he took it to heart? Perhaps she should come back. Since she had made a decision, she would live like this. Tang Bao wanted to laugh. In fact, she knew very well that she came back because of Di Haotian and nothing else. She still could not ignore Di Haotian. It was not that Di Haotian wanted to tie her down, but she was willing to return to Di Haotian's side. Tang Bao sometimes wondered how much she cared about Di Haotian that she changed her mind after Di Haotian appeared. Perhaps even she herself didn't know how deep that love was. It was so deep that she lost herself. Was Di Haotian the same as her, unable to control his own emotions? Tang Bao stood in front of the harbor for a long time before leaving. When she passed by a dessert shop, she thought of the little foodie at home and pushed the door open. Tang Bao only stared at the cake in the glass cabinet and did not notice anything else. Buy a cake. Tang Bao was stunned. She turned her head and looked at Gu Linshan, who appeared beside her. Gu Linshan was carrying a cake box in his hand. Obviously, he was there to buy something for someone. Yes, you're here to buy a cake too? Tang Bao straightened up and started chatting with him. You're back in D City? Yes. You're not leaving. Why was this person asking so many questions? Fortunately, you're back. Otherwise, the harbor would have been empty forever, Gu Linshan said with a half-smile. Tang Bao's expression was a little stiff. This person's words made her want to spit at him. He really touched a sore spot. Gu Linshan did not say anything more to her and turned to leave. Wait a minute, Tang Bao called out to him. Gu Linshan turned to look at her. What's the matter? Chapter 828. Are you afraid that I'll tell her about you? Tang Bao was a little afraid that Gu Linshan would tell her. She felt that even if she had to, she should be the one to do it. Only then would she feel better about the guilt in her heart. It has nothing to do with you. Of course, you don't have to tell her, Tang Bao said proudly. It has nothing to do with me? Why do I have to tell her? Tang Bao panicked. Hey, I'll tell her. What are you worried about? Of course I'll tell her that you returned to D City a long time ago but didn't dare to see her. Tang Bao's expression was not good, but he thought of something and smiled. Gu Linshan, if you tell her, she'll definitely be upset. Do you want to see her upset? When she's in a bad mood, I don't think you'll be able to coax her. Don't run away, my wife. With that, he gave Gu Linshan a sideways glance and turned to leave. The cake in this shop was not very good. It was better to go back and let the castle make it. After Gu Linshan bought the cake, Luoluali tore it open and ate it. After a few bites, she realized that Gu Linshan was sitting there silently. He did not look too good. What's wrong? Who provoked you? It can't be me, right? I didn't do anything. Did you want to buy me a cake? But you said you were going to buy it for me. Then I won't eat it. Luoluali pushed the cake forward. Gu Linshan's face twitched. He coaxed, no one provoked me. I bought it especially for you. You won't eat it? If you don't eat it, I'll feed it to you with my mouth. Luoluali blushed. She moved the cake closer to her and asked uncertainly, Then why are you like this? You don't look too good. I'm not satisfied. Luo Luoli wished that she could shrink herself into something smaller than the cake so that she could hide behind it. How would she know that Gu Linshan's expression was not good because of this? If she knew, she definitely wouldn't have asked. Wasn't she shooting herself in the foot? Why aren't you asking anymore? I didn't ask anything. I'm going out to eat. Luo Luoli picked up the cake and ran out to the balcony. Her face was red, and it was bright red from the sun's rays. Why did she ask about Gu Linshan's mood? What could possibly happen to him? Was there anything that could stump him? She had really made an unnecessary move. When she thought about what Gu Linshan had done to her, she could still feel the pain from the trauma. She didn't want to break it again. It was very painful. Gu Linshan was only angered by Tang Bao. He really did not dare to mention her to Luo Luoli. Otherwise, what would Luo Luoli think? Would she think that Tang Bao did not want to see her on purpose? He should have asked when the Tang Bao would look for Luo Luoli. But why did Luo Luoli run away so quickly when she heard him say unfulfilled desire? Wasn't it normal for him to be unfulfilled? He hadn't touched her since the last time, causing him to not be able to sleep well at night. Did she despise him? Luo Luoli should fall in love with this kind of thing no matter what. Tang Bao prepared to go to tea. When she passed by a flower shop, the corners of her mouth could not help but curl up into a sly smile. Thus, she got out of the car and entered the flower shop. When she came out, she was holding a bouquet of roses in her hand. They complemented her skin tone and made her look like a beautiful man. People could not help but stare at her. Tang Bao ignored other people's gazes. She wanted to see what Di Haotian's gaze was like. It would definitely be very interesting. When she arrived at the high-end front desk of tea, Tang Bao stood there and said, "Hello, I'm looking for Di Haotian." The staff at the front desk was stunned. No one had ever called the young master by his name. Did he want to die? However, the person in front of her was bright and beautiful. His eyes were elegant and cool, and he looked like a character who had walked out of a painting. Previously, there was a rumor in tea that the young master had fallen in love with a man. Could it be, "Do you have an appointment?" The staff at the front desk tried her best to ignore the large bouquet of roses in her hand. Her little heart was about to explode as she asked, "No, you just need to tell him my name. My name is Tang Go. Tang from the Tang and Song families, Go from Hu Go." The staff at the front desk was even more certain that this was the man in the rumors. Otherwise, with such a beautiful and eye-catching appearance, holding roses that represented love, looking for the young master, and even calling him by his name, it was impossible for people not to think that way. "Young madam." Tang Bao turned around. "Ah, he Ju. Just nice, I'm looking for Di Haotian." "Why didn't you call the young master?" He Ju asked. Tang Bao smiled proudly and raised the flowers in her hand. "Give him a surprise." "Are you sure this is a surprise and not a shock? You're a man now." The two of them walked towards the elevator. The staff at the front desk was already dumbfounded. "Young madam? A man became the young master's wife? What the f***ck?" In the past, when Di Haotian lost his memory, she had been to tea, so she knew which floor Di Haotian was on and which office. After going up to the floor, she went to Di Haotian's office. Di Haotian seemed to have just come out of the conference room. Behind him there was a large group of senior executives. They were all dressed in suits and leather shoes, and they were very eye-catching. And Di Haotian, who was at the front, had an aura that made people's hearts beat endlessly. Di Haotian. Tang Bao did not care about the others at all. If she did, her plan would have been for nothing. Di Haotian was stunned. He looked up and saw Tang Bao walking towards him. His dark eyes immediately softened. Tang Bao walked in front of him and gave him a big bouquet of roses. She asked, "This is for you. Do you like it?" Di Haotian took the roses in a daze. His eyes were surprised, but they were blooming with beast-like joy. "I like it." The senior executives behind him wanted to disappear on the spot. But they didn't have that function. But this was too exciting, wasn't it? A man gave the young master roses, and the young master said he liked it? They felt that it was normal for the young master to directly chase this reckless man out, right? As if the stimulation wasn't enough, Tang Bao pouted and kissed Di Haotian's thin lip. Then, they heard the sound of the senior executives gasping. Di Haotian's breathing deepened. Tang Bao quickly retreated. Di Haotian was really more indifferent than her? Go to your office? His straightforward manner made people think of Pian Pian. Let's go. Di Haotian pulled her hand and went to the office, leaving the senior executives behind. The senior executives were already in a mess. Of course, there were also familiar faces among the senior executive. They were Di Junbai and Zhou Jisen. I didn't expect the young master to be interested in men, Zhou Jisen said with emotion. I can only say that he looks like someone. CEO Di, don't you think so? Di Junbai smiled and looked ahead. Even if they look similar, they can't be the same person. Zhou Jisen looked at Di Junbai. Did this person really not know, or was he pretending? Chapter 829. Moreover, they had been living together for a long time. Tang Bao couldn't help but laugh the moment she entered the office. Di Haotian looked at her lovingly when he saw her laughing happily. Di Haotian, didn't you see the expressions of the other senior executives? They were scared out of their wits. Let's see if you still want me to come to tea next time. Di Haotian went forward and pulled her into his arms. His voice was low and hoarse. I like flowers very much. His right hand was still holding the bouquet, and he didn't put it down. Don't tell me you want me to send you roses next time? Tang Bao couldn't laugh anymore. Just like today. Send me flowers and give me a kiss. Tang Bao miscalculated again. This person really didn't care about his face at all. The people at tea said that you're looking for a man. Are you just going to listen to them? What's wrong with me looking for a man? I like him. Di Haotian kissed his man's little mouth. It was soft and fragrant, making him infatuated. You're really hopeless. Tang Bao blushed. I've been hopeless since a long time ago. Di Haotian looked at her with his dark eyes. Tang Bao's little heart was thumping wildly, and her watery eyes looked back nervously. Di Haotian's face came down and he wanted to kiss her slightly open little mouth. However, there was a knock on the door. Di Haotian's face darkened and Tang Bao quickly distanced herself from him. After she was allowed, the secretary came in and brought a vase of flowers before she left. Di Haotian put the roses in the vase personally. Tang Bao just looked at him. She thought that it was just a rose. Was Di Haotian being too cautious? Shouldn't she have sent the roses? She wanted to make Di Haotian back off, but now she was the one who wanted to back off. Di Haotian turned around and stared at her with his dark eyes, as if he was looking at a prey that couldn't escape. Come here. Tang Bao pursed her lips and walked over. What are you doing? Before she could finish her sentence, her mouth was blocked. Di Haotian kissed her deeply. Tang Bao didn't resist but hooked her arms around Di Haotian's neck. Di Haotian's heart tightened, and he was extremely excited. Bao, we won't go back tonight. Of course, Tang Bao zest. Di Haotian's breathing was a little heavy. Why don't you go back tonight? Tang Bao's breathing quickened. Why did she feel that she couldn't get too close to Di Haotian? Otherwise, the two of them would be like an inextinguishable fire that would burn up very quickly. Don't you want to? She just cooperated and this happened? Tang Bao calmed her breathing. Let's go back. Didn't Bao learn how to ride a horse in the castle today? We're not around. It's not good. What about tonight? Bao? Di Haotian hugged her and kissed her face intimately. Tang Bao sighed. Do whatever you want. My wife is the best. Tang Bao's heart twitched. You're the best just because I asked you to do whatever you want? Di Haotian, why are you so useless? Tang Bao couldn't help but say this. He didn't look like the inviolable leader of tea at all. It was as if he hadn't touched a woman in 8 lifetimes. Why should I be useless in front of you? I'm long gone. Tang Bao was speechless. He was really shameless. When they reached the castle, they went to the racecourse. From afar, they could see Bao riding a horse with the rider holding the reins. Xiao Bao was jumping and clapping beside him. She exclaimed in admiration, "Big brother is the best! Big brother is the best!" Tang Bao couldn't help but laugh and said to Di Haotian, "In her eyes, Big brother is the best in everything. In my eyes, you're the best in the world." Tang Bao's face heated up. He really dared to say this. Best in the world? That was an exaggeration. Tang Bao noticed that Zhongli, who was accompanying Xiao Bao, was smiling just a moment ago. However, when he saw her, his smile disappeared. Tang Bao found it amusing and walked up to her. "Mommy, Daddy, look. Big brother is the best." Xiao Bao pulled Tang Bao's and Di Haotian's hands and insisted on showing them. Of course, they had already seen it. Tang Bao squatted down and touched her red face. "Do you want to ride it? That's what boys like." "I don't like it." Xiao Bao's little face was full of resistance. Tang Bao was amused by her. She was really his little elf. Bao rode the horse once and got down. It was time to rest. Dinner would be in an hour. When they were about to go back, Tang Bao saw the serious look of rejection on her face. He couldn't help but lean over and talk to her. "I said, are you in a bad mood?" "Of course I'm in a bad mood." Zhang Li's words were stuck. She stared blankly at Tang Bao. "Why is your voice? What's wrong with my voice?" Tang Bao asked in his usual gentle and sweet voice. Why? Zhang Li was stunned. Tang Bao didn't explain to her. He looked at her meaningfully and left with Di Haotian. Zhang Li stood there for a long time and didn't come back to her senses. When it was time for dinner, Tang Bao's voice reverted to a deep male voice. Zhang Li was completely confused by this. She stared at Tang Bao the whole time during dinner. She wanted to see something. However, it was very difficult. After dinner, Di Haotian and Tang Bao left the dining room. Zhang Li, who had finished tidying up the kitchen, pulled Li En aside and asked, "Don't you think that Tango is very strange? Didn't I tell you that it has nothing to do with you and that you should stay out of it? I've already listened to you. But do you know what happened today? When Tango spoke to me, his voice was exactly the same as young madam's." "Don't look at me like that. I'm telling the truth." Zhang Li was anxious. "But when we were eating, he spoke. Why couldn't I tell?" "That's right. I realized that when he lowered his voice, he didn't sound like young madam. But when he didn't lower his voice, he sounded exactly like young madam. Don't you believe me? He said more than one sentence to me. I was stunned at that time. Maybe he deliberately pretended to sound like young madam." Lian's words immediately reminded Zhang Li. Zhang Li was furious. He was so agitated that he almost jumped up and scolded him. How could he do that? Does he really think that he's the mistress of this place? Bah! He's a man. He's not the man of the house. Unless he turns himself into a woman. Tang Bao, who had just finished showering, walked into the dining room and saw Li En and Zhang Li. "Ah, you're here. I just finished showering and I'm thirsty. Can you get me a glass of juice?" Li En and Zhang Li looked at Tang Bao as if they had been struck by lightning. "What's wrong?" Tang Bao asked, pretending not to know. Chapter 8:30. You figured it out? Tang Bao laughed. "It wasn't easy, but you finally figured it out. Zhang Li, can you help me get a glass of juice?" Zhang Li couldn't come back to her senses at all. She moved to the side in a daze to pour the juice. "Don't add sour lemon juice for me," Tang Bao reminded her. Zhang Li stood there in a daze. She didn't move and kept staring at Tang Bao. "What's wrong now?" Tang Bao asked. You didn't deliberately make your face like this to deceive us, did you?" Young madam, clearly." Zhang Li didn't dare to accept it, and her voice trembled a little. She couldn't control her emotions when she saw a person with the same face standing in front of her. "You don't recognize me because I cut my hair short? You really hurt me. When I was wronged in the castle in the past, you helped me in every way. Have you forgotten? Tang Bao deliberately brought up the past and asked. Zhang Li's tears fell down. Young madam, you didn't die? Lian also looked at her with a puzzled expression. Back then, everyone knew that the young madam of the castle would never come back. I was lucky. I didn't die. Zhang Li walked to Tang Bao and asked, Can I hug you? I don't really believe. Lian frowned and was about to stop her when Tang Bao opened his arms. Come on. Zhang Li hugged Tang Bao without hesitation and cried loudly. Young madam, you didn't die. That's great. I thought I would never see you again. I thought your position was going to be taken by a man. I thought the two little masters were going to call someone else mommy. I'm so sad. Tang Bao smiled, but his heart ached at Zhang Li's crying. He couldn't help but pat her back and comfort her. How can my position be taken so easily? I'm back. She felt guilty for teasing Zhang Li. Zhang Li let go of Tang Bao and cried until her eyes were red. Young madam, it must have been hard on you all these years. If it weren't for the young master's grievances, you wouldn't have had to suffer so much. Tang Bao wanted to laugh. Who exactly are you working for? I wasn't wronged either. Isn't it good to have two little guys with you? It's all because you're amazing, young madam. If it were anyone else, they wouldn't have the ability to do so. But the last time you came back, why didn't you tell me who you were? I thought you were a third party and said bad things about you behind your back, Zhang Li said, a little embarrassed. What did you say about me? I'm talking about you. You're shameless, male vixen. It's fine. You're not the first one to say that. I won't be angry. I even feel a sense of accomplishment. When I was a woman, I was also called a third party. When I was a man, I was also called a third party. This means that I'm very charming. When Zhang Li heard this, she was immediately unhappy. Young madam was also called a third party when she was a woman? Is that person crazy? What right does she have to say that? Tang Bao thought to himself, it's all because of that blue chrysanthemum. Oh right, Xiao Rui also said that. But it's all in the past. There's nothing to talk about. It's fine. Maybe she's just jealous of me, that's why she said that. I think it's jealousy too. It's great now. Young madam is back, little master is back, and the young master is back to normal. This day has finally come. Zhang Li was still very excited. Lian handed the juice over. Young madam juice. Thank you. Zhang Li scratched her head. She was so excited that she forgot to pour the juice. Then I'll go get some juice for little master. Don't call him little master. Erbao, Xiaobao. Together, we'll call him two treasures. I'm going back to my room. Tang Bao was about to leave with the juice when he thought for a moment. Lian, pour another glass for Di Haotian. Yes. Tang Bao went upstairs with 2 glasses of juice in his hands. Zhang Li still couldn't believe it as she watched Tang Bao's figure disappear into the distance. She only retracted her gaze when she couldn't see him anymore. Director, I feel like I'm dreaming. Not only is young madam not dead, but she has also returned to the castle. I'm also very surprised. I didn't expect Tang Ge to be young madam. That's right. Young madam is too naughty. She actually teased me like this. I knew it. Other than young madam, how could the young master be good to anyone else? And it's a man? That gaze, that doting look, that's exclusive to young madam. Zhang Li said proudly. Tang Bao drank her juice as she entered the room. When she saw Di Haotian coming out of the bathroom, she choked on the juice in her mouth. Cough, 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 cough. Cough, 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 cough. Cough, 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 cough. Di Haotian stepped forward and took the glass in her hand. He patted her back gently with his big hand. Can't you drink slowly? Tang Bao only dared to look elsewhere, or only dared to look above Di Haotian's waist. After she finally changed out of it, the red-faced Tang Bao glared at him. Is it any use just because I want to drink slowly? Can't you put on your pajamas? Even a towel would be good. God knows how big of an impact she had when she saw her husband's strong figure as soon as she entered the room. It's not like you haven't seen it before. Why are you still so agitated? Di Haotian asked wickedly. The corners of Tang Bao's mouth twitched. She turned her face away and drank the juice. She needed to calm down. She didn't know why she was still so shy, as if it was her first time seeing it, even though she had seen it so many times. More importantly, Di Haotian didn't even notice it. Not only was he not wearing any clothes, but he was also not wearing any clothes. She really couldn't hide her gaze anymore. Looks like I should show you more. Di Haotian stepped forward, took the glass from her hand and drank the juice. Hey, that glass is yours. I like to drink what you've drunk. You can drink that glass. This person didn't forget to be a pervert even when drinking water? She really had an eye-opener. Di Haotian finished the juice and looked at Tang Bao's clear and angry eyes. Is it nice to look at? Tang Bao turned away and didn't look at him. She picked up the juice and drank it. Her face was hot. She thought that she didn't need to look in the mirror to know how red her face was. Bao, you've seen it so many times. Why are you still shy? Di Haotian hugged her from behind and kissed her ear affectionately. Tang Bao trembled. She was stunned by Di Haotian's behavior. It's not a matter of whether I've seen it or not. What if someone walks in and sees you like this? What will they think? Is it nice to look at? Tang Bao refused to admit the strong emotions in her heart. She felt that a normal person wouldn't be able to stay calm after seeing such a scene. Is it not nice to look at? Do you think my figure is bad? Di Haotian frowned slightly. Tang Bao's mouth twitched. Was this a matter of whether his figure was good or not? Chapter 831. Otherwise, she would think that he did it on purpose. That's not the problem at all. Don't you think it's weird if I'm walking around the room with you? Tang Bao retorted. Really? Di Haotian's eyes were filled with joy. She shouldn't have asked such a question. Why should I wear it when I'm going to take it off sooner or later? It's a waste of time, Di Haotian said matter-of-factly. Tang Bao's face heated up. She turned her face away and refused to look at him. She didn't forget what she said during the day. She was really speechless. Di Haotian turned her around and put his arm around her. He lifted her up slightly and sat on the table. Hey! Tang Bao's face was burning when Di Haotian looked at her gently. Don't make me sit on this table. Don't talk, let me kiss you properly. Di Haotian's voice was low and rough. His thin lips slowly moved forward and started to kiss her gently and sincerely, as if he was treating a unique treasure in the world. However, it became uncontrollable in the end. Di Haotian's breathing was very heavy. Tang Bao felt that something was wrong with her just by listening to it. It was as if it was a very seductive voice. Tang Bao lay on the table like a fish on the chopping block, waiting to be slaughtered. Her misty eyes were half squinting weakly as she looked at the ceiling above. Her eyes were misty and rippling, and she was enduring dizziness. Her slender and fair fingers clasped the edge of the table tightly. Di Haotian took her hand and wrapped it in his palm. His fingers were intertwined. Then, he took away her other finger from the edge of the table and wrapped it in his thick and rough palm. Tang Bao closed her eyes. Anyway, Tang Bao didn't completely lose consciousness later on. If anyone knew, the table would have been flipped over. There was no doubt about it. Tang Bao definitely couldn't get up the next day. She slept until the afternoon before she woke up. After getting used to the pain in his back and leg cramps, he slowly sat up. The room was quiet. It was really a good environment for sleeping. However, Tang Bao wished he could crush Di Haotian with his teeth. This person was truly abominable. After Tang Bao washed up, he took out his phone and found that it was on silent mode. Needless to say, it was definitely Di Haotian's doing. It wasn't the first time. Looking at the missed calls, one of them was from Dogu. She replied, Hello? Dogu, you're looking for me? I don't have my phone with me. I just saw it. You're not working in the company anymore? You know. As a friend, you actually didn't say anything? Dogu was somewhat displeased. Didn't I just return to Imperial City? I haven't settled anything yet, so I'll tell you after I settle down. You're not going back to Boiling City? Dogu asked. I'm not going back. I was originally from Imperial City, so it's good to be here, Tangbao said. She wasn't going to tell Dogu. Dogu was doing well in Boiling City now. Why would she tell him this? I know. It's meaningless for you to work in Boiling City. You don't need to follow such a leader. Dogu supported it. He was just unhappy that Tangbao should have told him. So I'm back. I'm going to open my own studio. You don't have any problems now. Just do it well. When the studio is established, I'll invite you to come and play. Okay. After hanging up the phone, Dogu corrected the camera lens and said to the assistant, I'm going back to Imperial City. Are you coming with me? Miku was stunned. Why are you going to Imperial City? I'm going to follow Tengu. Ah, really? I'm willing. Miku had seen Tangji's ability, and it was in a top city like Imperial City. She had no reason not to go. Dogu didn't say anything. Fan Siming should know that he wouldn't stay here for long, because he originally wanted to open his own studio, and Fan Siming also knew. But now, he changed his mind. Even if he opened a studio in Imperial City, he would link it with Tangbao's studio and help him do it. Tangbao went downstairs and didn't see the two little guys. Instead, he saw Zhongli staring at him. Haven't you seen enough? Tangbao laughed at him. I just feel like I'm in a dream, Zhongli said embarrassedly. Where's Di Haotian? Just now, young master called and asked if you were awake. He asked us not to wake you up. Bao is riding a horse, and Xiao Bao is accompanying him, Zhongli said. Young madam, don't worry about that. Eat first. You haven't eaten for a day. You must be hungry. Why was she hungry? Tangbao's face was a little hot. He nodded and went to the dining room. Zhongli held back his laughter. Young madam had been with young master for so many years. Why was she still shy? No wonder young master treasured her so much. Wasn't the room soundproof? Young master didn't allow anyone to pass through his master bedroom. He wasn't an ordinary treasure. Young madam, this is bird's nest porridge with your favorite pastries and side dishes. Try it. Is it the same as before? Zhongli brought almost all the food that he used to prepare for Tangbao to the table. You made so much. How can I finish it? Tangbao laughed at him. If you can't finish it, you can leave it. Who said so? It's too wasteful. Young master said so. He would be even more wasteful. However, Tangbao was also speechless. If she really said something too wasteful to Di Haotian, she could imagine what Di Haotian would say to her. Tangbao ate a mouthful of bird's nest porridge. Zhongli quickly asked, Young madam, how is it? Is it still as delicious as before? Or do you want to change the taste? Why didn't you make it for me before? Zhongli's expression was a little awkward. That's because I didn't know it was you. I wouldn't make it for a man with impure thoughts. Tangbao pursed his lips and smiled. After she arrived at the castle, before Zhongli knew who she was, he really didn't make anything delicious for her, unless she requested it or Di Haotian ordered it. After eating, Tangbao went to look for her two sweethearts. When he went to the racetrack, he saw Bao on the horse, having a lot of fun. Xiao Bao stood beside him, eating and watching. Daddy. No, Mommy. Xiao Bao called out happily. Tangbao looked at her anxious expression and went forward to wipe her little face. Look at you, your mouth is full. Zhongli handed her a wet wipe, and Tangbao took it to wipe her little mouth. Mommy, have a bite too. Xiao Bao ate by herself and didn't forget to feed Tangbao. I'm not eating anymore. Tangbao smiled. Xiao Bao said coquettishly, Mommy, have a bite, all right? Tangbao had no choice but to eat with her little spoon. Xiao Bao was satisfied. Tangbao looked up into the distance. Erbao was riding a horse, but the jockey was not leading the horse. Chapter 832. Tang Bao got up and walked over. Is it safe for him to ride like this? Aren't you going to lead the horse? Don't worry, young madam. Young master has full control of this foal, the jockey said. Erbao rode on the horse and said to Tang Bao, Mommy, I'm fine. I rode like this in the morning. Tang Bao thought to herself, this horse has only been here for 2 days, right? And he already knows how to ride it? Seeing that Erbao was really fine after riding 2 laps, she walked back to the table and sat down. Young madam, I think young master will definitely be as amazing as young master D in the future, Zhongli said. Why do you say that? Because I realize that young master can learn everything in one go, and he's only 3 years old. No one would be unhappy to hear their child being praised for being smart, and Tang Bao was no exception. She hadn't told Zhongli that this little guy had already finished reading the famous books. However, she felt that Erbao's personality wouldn't be like Di Haotian's in the future. It was best not to be like Di Haotian's personality. Otherwise, he would be like a little demon king, and she definitely wouldn't be able to control him. My brother is very smart. I want to be as smart as him in the future. Because Mommy said that she gave birth to me, so I won't be bad. Xiao Bao's serious look was extremely cute. It made Tang Bao and Zhongli laugh. That's right, Zhongli said. Tang Bao sat lazily in the armchair, squinting slightly as she enjoyed the afternoon. With the 2 babies by her side, she felt infinitely satisfied and comfortable. She felt that she had been spoiled by Di Haotian until she was lazy. She didn't even want to move. At this moment, a maid hurried over. Deputy manager, Miss Lan is here again. She wants to come in. Zhang Li's expression immediately became stern. What's there to report about this kind of thing? Just pretend that she doesn't exist. Yes. The little maid lowered her head and left in fear. Tang Bao was interested in this topic. Lan Wanru? Zhang Li knew that Tang Bao had heard it. He couldn't hide it anymore, so he said, It's Lan Juhua. She's been here a few times. When you weren't around in the past, the young master instructed us not to let Lan Juhua in. She clearly knew that she couldn't enter, but she still came every time. I've never seen such a thick-skinned woman. She probably hasn't given up yet. Tang Bao thought for a moment. Go and ask her to come in. Ah? Tell her to come in? Zhang Li didn't mishear, did he? She treated you so badly in the past and you still want her to come in? I'm going to touch up my makeup first. You can ask someone to call for me. Tang Bao stood up and walked into the castle. Zhang Li did not know what Tang Bao was trying to do. But since Tang Bao had said so, she could only ask someone to call him. After Lan Wanru went in, he was brought to the horse field. There was only Xiao Bao eating cake there. Erbao had already gotten down from his horse. The servant immediately handed him a towel and poured him water. Erbao looked at Lan Wanru coldly without any expression. Xiao Bao had heard the conversation between Tang Bao and Zhang Li just now. She also looked at Lan Wanru expressionlessly. Lan Wanru stood there in a daze. She looked at the 2 children who seemed to be carved from jade. Especially the boy, who looked exactly like Di Haotian. They were even more alike than she had imagined. Even if she was jealous, this was still Di Haotian's child. Tang Bao was not around anymore. If she wanted to take a step further with Di Haotian and get closer to the child, that would be the best. He's really good-looking. Lan Wanru went forward to touch Xiao Bao. Xiao Bao refused and dodged. Lan Wanru's face stiffened. Don't touch me. Xiao Bao was angry. Seeing that Xiao Bao was angry, Erbao's face became even worse. He looked at Lan Wanru coldly. Lan Wanru felt as if Di Haotian was looking at him coldly. He could not help but withdraw his hand. Because of anger, his hands were clenched into fists. His nails dug into the flesh of his palms. He could only control himself. Zhang Li smiled insincerely. Miss Lon, you'd better not touch their faces. Children's faces are so tender. It would be bad if they touched something dirty. Was he saying that she was dirty? Lon Wanru was so angry that he was about to tremble, but he could only hold it in. What are you doing? Tang Bao, who had finished putting on his makeup, walked over and asked with a curious look in his eyes. He deliberately lowered his voice. He no longer looked like Tang Bao. Lon Wanru turned around and looked at Tang Bao with hatred in his eyes. Tang Bao acted as if he did not see Lon Wanru's expression. He sat down on his seat and wiped Xiao Bao's mouth. Why are you eating like this again? Xiao Bao pouted obediently and let Tang Bao wipe her mouth. She looked as if she wanted a kiss. Tang Bao smiled and tapped her little mouth. Okay, Bao, take your sister somewhere else to play. Don't keep riding. Okay. Bao took Xiao Bao's hand and walked away. Tang Bao looked at the two small figures with a gentle gaze as they walked away. There was a servant following behind them. He did not have to worry about them playing. Di Haotian was still having a meeting in the highest conference room. Below the stage were the T's top leaders, all dressed in suits and leather shoes. Just as this solemn and oppressive atmosphere was going on, the door to the conference room opened. He Ju walked in and whispered something in Di Haotian's ear. Di Haotian's expression changed immediately. He almost roared, "Damn it! Who let her in?" After saying that, he stood up. His roar scared the top leaders in the conference room into silence. They looked at each other. What was going on? Was there a problem with the tea? But why did it not sound like it? Di Haotian walked out of the conference room furiously. He Ju followed behind him and said, "Young madam, let her in." Di Haotian froze. He had wanted to call the castle to let his bodyguards receive their punishment. But now, he did not even dare to make the call. Di Haotian put away his phone and left the tea. He left the top leaders in the conference room, who did not know what to do. However, Zhou Jisen was very calm. Of course, Di Ju Bai also knew what was going on. Zhou Jisen walked out and patted the shoulder of the secretary who was standing there in a daze. Go to the conference room and inform them that the meeting is over. What happened? The secretary pushed up her glasses and asked worriedly. It's nothing. Don't worry. Zhou Jisen thought. Other than the person in the castle, who else could make the young master so anxious? Tang Bao and Lon Wanru sat at the table. Zhang Li stood behind Tang Bao. She would not leave anyway. Who knew if Lon Wanru would bully the young madam? Tang Bao was calm. Lon Wanru wanted to be calm too. But when she saw Tang Bao acting like she was the mistress of the house, she was mad with jealousy and hatred. She had never seen a man so arrogant before. What was more hateful was that the two children were so obedient to this man. They even seemed very close. Chapter 833. She must have known that if she wanted to deal with Di Haotian, she had to deal with the two children first. When you came, did you see that large field of roses? Tang Bao asked first. Lon Wanru looked at him, not knowing why he asked this. I've never seen so many roses. Moreover, every one of them is tender and beautiful. Not a single one has withered. Di Haotian really put in a lot of effort, Tang Bao said casually. What are you trying to say? Lon Wanru sneered. No matter how beautiful the roses are, they have nothing to do with you. I know more than you do. What do you know? Why don't you tell me? Tang Bao asked curiously. My brother Haotian planted those roses especially for his wife. How can a man like you understand that kind of feeling? Brother Haotian will never forget his wife. As for you, even if you can stay in the castle now, it's only temporary. You'll be abandoned sooner or later. Don't ever think of replacing his wife. Although Lon Wanru's face was almost distorted when he said this, why was Tang Bao not angry when he heard it? Then what about you? What? Since your brother Haotian can't forget his wife, why are you still pestering him? Or do you think you can replace his wife? Of course I can. You can't even fight a man. Can you? Where does your confidence come from? Tang Bao laughed. I'm the one living in the castle now, and you, if it weren't for me, you wouldn't even be able to enter the castle. Is this your confidence? Lan Wanru was so angry that her face turned pale and her whole body trembled. Even if Tang Bao was telling the truth, she would not show any weakness. You're just Brother Haotian's plaything at most. After he's done playing with you, you'll still go back to where you came from. Do you really think you're something? I've never seen a man marry another man. What can you do for Brother Haotian? Can you have children? If you want to have children, you can only reincarnate. As long as a man has true love, he can still get married. Tang Bao turned around and asked Zhang Li, have you seen it before? Of course I have. Many people abroad have gotten their marriage certificates. Zhang Li cooperated. Tang Bao smiled and looked at Lan Wanru, who was about to faint from anger, and said, Why should I have a child? Didn't Di Haotian already have 2 children? I don't need to think about the successor. That's Brother Haotian's child, not yours. Brother Haotian's business was so huge that the more children he had, the better. Do you think having 2 children is enough for Brother Haotian? You mean you will bear his children? It's not that I'm looking down on you, but with your lousy body, can you bear a child? You. Lan Wanru's poor health had been her lifelong worry. If it weren't for her lousy body, she wouldn't have lost to Tang Bao, to the man in front of her. If that's the case, you're no different from a man. Am I right? Lan Wanru was so angry that she was at a loss for words with Tang Bao, so she could only threaten him. Don't be too smug. However, Tang Bao was unafraid. I'm just that smug. So what? Right now, I'm in charge of the entire castle. If you know your place, then go back to your own home. If you don't know your place, then think about it before you fight with me. Understand? Lan Wanru stood up, grabbed Xiao Bao's unfinished cake, and was about to throw it at Tang Bao. Zhang Li quickly stood in front of Tang Bao. However, there was an even scarier voice. Don't you dare to throw it. Lan Wanru's whole body stiffened. She looked at Di Haotian, and the cake in her hand fell to the ground. Di Haotian looked at Lan Wanru with malicious eyes. Didn't I say that you're not allowed to enter the castle again? Don't you understand? It was this man who let me in. Lan Wanru suppressed her arrogance and said weakly. You came in just because he let you in? Did he ask for my permission? Di Haotian's face was terrifyingly cold. Lan Wanru panted in fear, not daring to refute. Di Haotian's commanding voice made her heart tremble. Disappear from my sight immediately. Lan Wanru's face turned pale. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she still fell down in the end. She wouldn't cry no matter what that man said. However, facing such a cold and heartless Di Haotian, she was so sad that she couldn't control herself. Di Haotian, what are you being so fierce for? She's here to see you. Can't you give her a good look? Tang Bao asked. Di Haotian immediately coaxed her. Baby, my heart is about to stop because of you. Don't make a fuss, okay? I'm making a fuss? When did I make a fuss? Tang Bao immediately questioned. No, it's my fault. Don't be angry. Di Haotian still wanted to hug her and coax her. Lan Wanru looked at this scene, and her body was already on the verge of collapsing. Di Haotian was actually hugging her and calling her baby? He wasn't even willing to look at her for a man? What was going on with him? Didn't he love Tang Bao a lot in the past? Why was he treating a man now? She simply couldn't believe her eyes. The last time they kissed, it was this man who took the initiative. Now, this man was obviously throwing a tantrum, but Di Haotian acted as if he couldn't see it. He continued to pamper and coax her. Brother Haotian, are you possessed? Lan Wanru asked angrily. What did you say? Di Haotian's gaze turned fierce. Isn't it? He's a man, not a Tang Bao. How can you treat a man like this? Lan Wanru couldn't accept it. He definitely couldn't do this. Di Haotian's gaze fell on Tang Bao's face, and it became gentle and doting again. His dark eyes were so deep and domineering that it seemed as if he wanted to swallow her into his stomach. No matter if she's a man or a woman, I like her. Tang Bao imitated him and raised his eyebrows. He really knew how to coax her. Wasn't he afraid that Lan Wanru would faint from anger? But you said before that you only loved the Tang Bao. How can you forget about the Tang Bao? Wasn't this shifting of affections a little too fast? So what? Di Haotian was indifferent. Since even this man can do it, why can't it be me? Why can't you give me a chance? Brother Haotian. Lan Wanru still wanted to say something. Di Haotian had already straightened up, and his expression was very obvious. He walked forward and said, Miss Lan, please go back. Lan Wanru went to look at Di Haotian, hoping that he would let her stay and not be so cruel to her. However, Di Haotian's gaze only fell on Tang Bao, and he didn't look at her at all. Lan Wanru was unwilling to give up. I'm not leaving. I want to stay here. Brother Haotian, this man just looks like Tang Bao. He's not the Tang Bao. Why do you want him to stay here? If I don't have the right to stay here, then she doesn't have the right either. Chapter 834. Di Haotian's voice was low and hoarse, and his breath was hot. Tang Bao blushed and was stunned. You're bragging, right? Why don't we try it? I'm not that bored. Tang Bao pouted. Di Haotian kissed her on the lips. Tang Bao lay in his arms, her eyes sparkling and her face red. She closed her eyes. Can you put on your clothes? This person was not going to start again, was he? From Tang Bao's position, she could see the 3 obediences, 4 virtues, and the agreement pasted on the bedside wall. It made her scalp tingle. It's good for the body to sleep without clothes. You don't have to put them on, Di Haotian said seriously. Tang Bao was so scared that she immediately grabbed the collar of her pajamas and looked at Di Haotian defensively. Do you want to hug me? Although I want to, I think it's better not to. I'm afraid you can't take it. You know that too? If you come here every day, I don't have to go to work. Tang Bao glared at him with a red face. It's not like I can't afford to raise you. It's different. In other people's eyes, I'm already a man. If I don't go to work, there will be more rumors. A man? Let me see if it's true. Hey! Di Haotian, don't mess around. Tang Bao struggled in panic. However, how could she resist Di Haotian's strength? He still checked her real body. However, Bao, don't be so cold. Why don't you let me quench my thirst? Di Haotian, you. Tang Bao was kissed domineeringly and lost her sovereignty. Tang Bao woke up in the morning, but it was not too late. She was completely grateful that Di Haotian did as he said last night, quenching his thirst. However, that thirst lasted for 3 hours. Tang Bao gritted her teeth and wanted to curse. When Di Haotian came in with breakfast, he was still in his pajamas. Tang Bao glanced at him unhappily. Angry? No. Tang Bao said that he did not, but it was obvious that he was angry. I only did it once last night. This is very different from what we agreed on. Di Haotian pointed at the agreement on the wall. Yeah, 3 hours at a time. Tang Bao said with a hot face. I was afraid that you wouldn't be happy, so I dragged it out a little longer. When Di Haotian saw Tang Bao staring at him with his eyes wide open and the adorable look on his face, he could not help but change his words. I'm the one who can't bear to end it so quickly. There was no sign of repentance at all. When Tang Bao heard this, he felt a little better. However, he also felt that Di Haotian had gone too far. She almost died in those 3 hours. One could only imagine how terrifying Di Haotian was at the end of his 3 hours of self-restraint. Her scalp was still numb. Di Haotian sat on the edge of the bed to feed her. Tang Bao did not refuse. Even if Di Haotian wanted to feed her, it was useless. It was as if it was his job. I've found the location of the studio for you, Di Haotian said. Huh? Didn't I say that I'll do my own things? I'm only involved in this matter. I won't interfere with anything else. Di Haotian really wanted to interfere, but if Tang Bao knew, she would definitely be upset. Tang Bao had a bad feeling. Where did you find it? I'll take you there in the morning. Tang Bao followed Di Haotian to see the location of the studio. It was on the west side of the first floor of T. There were 2 floors. The lower floor was for the studio and the upper floor was for her office. The staircase had a 3-dimensional feel to it. It was a very artistic design. Tang Bao walked around and liked it very much. But I don't like it. Tang Bao turned around and looked at Di Haotian. What don't you like? I can get someone to change it. Di Haotian completely doted on her and indulged her. It's the location. I don't like it. I'll free up any place you like in T for your studio. My office is fine too. You know what I don't like? If my studio is here, then wouldn't I be staying at home and working together at the same place? I don't want that. Tang Bao felt a headache coming on. Di Haotian stepped forward and closed in on her. Tang Bao retreated, but landed on the table behind her. She could not escape. Di Haotian stood very close to her. Their faces were almost touching. We've been separated for 3 years. Don't you want to make it up to me? You think that we're too close. I'd rather you be by my side 24 hours a day, right under my nose. Even so, I'm not satisfied. I feel that we're not close enough. Do you understand what I mean? Tang Bao blushed at his low and hoarse words and hot breath. Her heart was beating like a drum. I'm back now. I'm not leaving, Bao, it's not enough. Di Haotian kissed Tang Bao's mouth, which was caught off guard. His kiss went from light to deep, as if he wanted to swallow her right there, and then, Tang Bao had nowhere to run. She held Di Haotian's collar tightly with both hands. Otherwise, she would fall into the abyss if she let go. Tang Bao did not know why, but she felt that Di Haotian's kiss contained too many emotions. It was as if he was constantly in a state of tension, a restlessness that worried about his gains and losses. It was as if she would leave him. However, she had already returned to D City. Why did he still have such emotions? Could it be that the 3 years of separation had made him panic again? Tang Bao thought of the time when they were in Boiling City. Di Haotian was unwilling to return to D City even for a moment. Even when they agreed to return to D City once every 3 days, he was still unwilling. Even if he went back, he would come back very quickly. It was as if he had never left at all. Ah! Tang Bao cried out in pain. Di Haotian, why did you bite me? Di Haotian was displeased. You're distracted. He could even tell that. What are you thinking about? Tang Bao met Di Haotian's dark eyes and her gaze flickered. I'm thinking, have you found a school for the 2 babies yet? This is more important than my studio. Do you know the consequences of not telling the truth? Di Haotian's dark eyes became dangerous. What consequences? Tang Bao asked cautiously. Here. Di Haotian smiled. Can't you think of something else? Tang Bao glared at him with a red face. I can't think of anything. Tang Bao knew that lying would not work in front of Di Haotian. In the end, she braced herself and said, Di Haotian, I won't leave your side. She did not hear Di Haotian's response. She raised her head, and the pair of dark eyes that were staring at her flashed with a deep luster, as if there were ripples in them. After a long time, he spoke in a low voice and pressed against her lip. Say it again. I won't leave your side. I forgot your name. Chapter 835. She added his name helplessly. Di Haotian, I won't leave your side. Okay. Di Haotian hugged her tightly and kissed her again. Tang Bao knew that she had surrendered. She couldn't reject Di Haotian like this. She didn't want to reject him either. Just like the studio here. Didn't she go from rejecting it to accepting it now? She suspected that one day, no matter what Di Haotian asked, she would accept it. After the 2 of them came out of the studio, they saw Di Junbai coming out of tea. Di Haotian was expressionless and pretended not to see her. However, Tang Bao didn't say anything either. The only thing she said was that Di Haotian tightened his grip on her hand. Tang Bao felt a little pain in her bones, but she didn't struggle. After Di Jubai left, Tang Bao looked at Di Haotian, who had a gloomy expression on his face, and asked, "Can you let go of my hand? My bones are going to break." Di Haotian came back to his senses and loosened his grip on her hand. However, he still had a dangerous look in his eyes. "You don't want me to hold your hand like this? Aren't you holding my hand? I just want you to be less forceful. Don't you know that you are very strong?" Tang Bao didn't look unhappy. She was just stating the truth. Di Haotian felt a little better when he saw that she didn't look unhappy. "Di Haotian, you let my studio be here. Aren't you afraid that Di Junbai will come looking for me? Even if he doesn't, he will still run into you like today." Tang Bao reminded him. "He doesn't have the guts to do that under my watch. The studio is elsewhere. That's why he will look for you." Di Haotian's depth was indeed unmatched by others. Tang Bao didn't know what to say. Let him be. Otherwise, who knew if he would get angry again? "You want him to come to you?" Tang Bao looked up at Di Haotian in a daze. "Do you think it's possible? What do I want him to do with me? He's your younger brother and has nothing to do with me. If he needs anything, he can look for you." Yes. Although Di Haotian only said one word, Tang Bao could tell that he was in a good mood. Was it because he was satisfied with her answer? This man was really hard to coax. However, there was something strange about the Tang Bao. Logically speaking, Di Junbai should have known about her cross-dressing a long time ago. Why didn't Lan Wanru know about it? Didn't he tell her? Why? Tang Bao originally wanted to find his own studio and then decorate it. But Di Haotian had done it all for her. She only needed to recruit people. She already had a big star, but she also hoped to have a photography team, because packaging was very important. If the packaging was not attractive enough, it would indeed be more troublesome. A star had to have an eye-catching highlight at first glance. In the afternoon, Tang Bao sat in the studio and went online to register for a recruitment notice. It was not a photography team, but a public relations team and other staff. These things were not urgent. Anyway, they still had to wait for Meng Shi and Qing Ju to come over before they could really start work. After finishing online, Tang Bao thought for a while and ran to Kuchen. However, just as she left the studio, her phone rang. Tang Bao took a look. Di Haotian? She turned around and looked around, but did not see Di Haotian. She picked up. "Hello. Where are you? Did you see that I was going out, so you called?" "I saw it." "Where did you see it?" "There's a surveillance camera at the entrance of your studio." Of course, Tang Bao knew that there was a surveillance camera. It was normal for her to put it on. Just like tea, there were surveillance cameras everywhere. Not to mention tea, other shops would have them. But wasn't it strange that Di Haotian saw her movements immediately? "Don't tell me you've been paying attention to my every move? And why can you see the surveillance camera at the entrance of my studio? It's connected to tea." "Of course I know," Di Haotian said calmly. Tang Bao gritted her teeth. She knew that setting up a studio in tea was definitely not a good thing. But now that it had been set up, could she move away? Even if she wanted to move away, Di Haotian had already vetoed it before she could say anything. "I'll go to Kuchen." "How long?" "I'll go back to the castle directly, okay? You stay there. I'll pick you up on the way." "On the way? How did you manage to get to Kuchen?" Forget it. She would not argue with him about this. Anyway, Di Haotian would definitely go there. "Got it. Are you unhappy?" "Ha ha ha ha, I'm very happy." Di Haotian. After Tang Bao hung up the phone, she felt that Di Haotian was extraordinarily difficult to deal with. When she arrived at Kuchen and passed by the security room, "I know who you are." Tang Bao was stunned. It can't be? She was not a celebrity. "Your vice president Yu's friend." Tang Bao smiled. "Yes, I'm looking for her for something. Vice President, you said that you can go up directly if you're here. Thank you. Tang Bao entered the company. It had been 3 years since she came back. Nothing had changed. Even the office was the same. Tang Bao went straight to Yu Lianlian's office. This time, she knocked on the door. She did not want to scare herself. The good deed that Zhou Jisen and Yu Lianlian had done was still fresh in her memory. Come in. Yu Lianlian's voice came from inside. Tang Bao pushed the door open and went in. Inside, Yu Lianlian and Wan Malay were chatting and eating oranges. When they saw the handsome man walk in, they were stunned. Yu Lianlian said to Wan Malay, "Oh no, the leader is here for an inspection. He saw us eating oranges and chatting. What should we do? Why don't we share some with her?" Tang Bao pretended not to hear. She walked over and sat on the sofa. "You guys are the most comfortable. Have an orange. It's very sweet." Yu Lianlian handed it to her. Tang Bao took it happily. "Let me tell you, ever since I had the 2 babies, I don't eat much snacks. Even the fruits I eat are limited." "Why? Will the 2 babies think that you're stealing their food?" Wan Malay was puzzled. "No, I don't want them to think that I'm greedy. Moreover, I always hide when I eat cold drink." Yu Lianlian almost choked on her laughter. "Do you have to maintain such a lofty image? Only young Master D has such a lofty image. She has nothing to do. That's why she has such thoughts." Wan Malay mocked without sympathy. "What do you mean by having nothing to do? I've been running around all day, okay? Unlike you guys, peeling oranges and eating them here." Tang Bao looked like a doer. "Running around all day? What did you do?" Wan Malay asked. "Looking for the film company?" "No. The studio." "Did you find it?" "Yes." "Where is the studio set up?" Yu Lianlian asked. Chapter 836. Yu Lianlian and Wan Malay looked at each other. Wan Malay asked suspiciously, "Are you sure you've been running around all day? Didn't the young master do it for you?" Yu Lianlian asked. "No. I did it myself. I did it myself," Tang Bao said without blushing or skipping a beat. Wan Malay and Yu Lianlian didn't want to ask any more. Did he think they were 2-year-old children? It was Tang Bao who found it downstairs? With Tang Bao's personality, where would he find it? The young master must have done it long ago and told Tang Bao. Plus, they knew the young master's domineering style, so it was definitely like this. "Why aren't you talking?" Tang Bao finished an orange and looked up. "Unless you admit that the studio was set up by the young master," Wan Malay said. "Why are you still asking if you know?" Tang Bao's face twitched. Wan Malay laughed. "Do you think you can still run away from the young master after you return to the capital?" "When did I say I was going to run away?" Tang Bao asked, puzzled. Wan Malay was overjoyed. That would be great. With the young master and the 2 babies, what are you if not a winner in life? "I'll be embarrassed if you say that." Tang Bao expressed that he was thin-skinned. Yu Lianlian asked, "Are you going to dress as a man outside? Isn't it good?" "It's quite good. At least I don't have to worry about romance." Yu Lianlian nodded in agreement. Tang Bao thought, romance? She was a man, but she was still harassed in that way. The past was unbearable. The 3 of them chatted happily in the office. Tang Bao's phone rang. He didn't need to look to know who it was. "Well, I'll go back first." Tang Bao stood up and left. Wan Malay asked Yu Lianlian, "Vice President Yu, who do you think is calling?" "Young master." The 2 of them high-fived. "Correct." After Tang Bao walked out of the office, he looked at the caller ID. It was Di Haotian. "Hello?" she answered. "I'm downstairs." "I'm coming down." Downstairs, Di Haotian's car was very eye-catching. Its aura was so strong that no one dared to approach it. After getting into the car, Di Haotian pulled Tang Bao over, and Tang Bao fell into his arms. "You? Before Tang Bao could say anything, a black shadow covered her face, and then her little mouth was sealed. After being kissed enough, Tang Bao was kissed until he was out of breath. Only then was he released. Tang Bao gasped for breath. You, I missed you so much. Di Haotian's voice was low and hoarse as he hugged her tightly. She had only been in Kuchun for a few hours. Was it as exaggerated as he said? In the evening. Bungalow. Lan Wanru looked gloomy and left dejectedly. Yu Songhuan sat on the sofa and looked at her pale face. What's wrong? Aunt, I went to the castle yesterday. Didn't you say you couldn't get in? Yu Songhuan knew about this. She couldn't do anything about it. That was Di Haotian's order. Who could change it? She couldn't either. I went yesterday. That man let me in. I thought he was kind enough to let me in. Who knew that after he let me in, he humiliated me in all kinds of ways. Aunt, you didn't see how arrogant he was. If Brother Haotian had found a woman, I wouldn't have said anything as long as he liked her. But now, he actually found a man. How could I bear to watch this? Am I not even comparable to a man? At the mention of this, Yu Songhuan's face didn't look too good. No one would be willing to accept their son finding a man to live with. She didn't see that man that day. He must have deliberately avoided her. At least he knew shame. And aunt, yesterday I heard Brother Haotian's children call that man mommy. I was shocked. What does it mean to call a man like that? Will Brother Haotian marry him? Lan Wanru asked. What? It's absolutely true. If you don't believe me, you can go to the castle again. And I realized that the man coaxes the children very well. They listened to him. Yu Songhuan's face was pale with anger. This is outrageous. I also found out something today. What is it? That man seems to want to open a studio here. And it's right next to T. It's right next to T. This is already a rumor in T. Brother Haotian actually did this. I think it must be that vixen who coaxed Brother Haotian. If it's not him, why would Haotian do such a thing? Leaving such a man to cause trouble, it's better to let the Tang Bao stay by Haotian's side. Yu Songhuan was flustered and exasperated. Lan Wanru's expression changed. Jealousy filled his heart. Tang Bao? Wasn't it her? Wasn't it better for her to stay by Di Haotian's side? What did Yu Songhuan mean by this? Was he regretting it? Was he blaming her for snatching Di Haotian from Tang Bao? Seeing that Yu Songhuan was angry, Aunt Wang comforted him. I think young Master Di just wanted something new. After this, he won't take him seriously. What about the children? Call them mommy? Does he have that ability? Yu Songhuan, who was comforted, didn't look better. Instead, he looked even worse. I don't want to lead the two children astray. Lan Wanru didn't say anything. She didn't need to say anything anymore. She had already said what she needed to say. At least now, she wasn't the only one who was objecting to this matter. Presumably, everyone who heard such a ridiculous thing wouldn't feel comfortable. Yu Songhuan would only be more annoyed than she was. He was her biological son and the person in charge of T. She definitely couldn't let such news spread to others. In the castle's dining room, the two babies were eating happily. Tang Bao looked at them and thought that it was fortunate that they were twins. Otherwise, she wouldn't feel at ease letting Xiao Bao go to school alone. She might even be secretly observing them in school every day. Although Bao was more reassuring, she still had to take care of his young heart. Tang Bao said to Di Haotian, I want to bring them to school to familiarize themselves with it. School hasn't started yet, right? It's good to familiarize themselves with it more. No need. Why not? They're going to school soon. Won't they be afraid of an unfamiliar environment? Tang Bao asked worriedly. Di Haotian asked the two babies, Are you afraid? The two little heads shook at the same time. Tang Bao didn't want them to be nervous. She felt that it was beneficial to do homework in advance. She asked, There are indeed many children in school, but you don't know any of them. Won't you be nervous? Bao said, I'm also a stranger to them. I'll be with brother. I'm not afraid. Xiao Bao giggled. Tang Bao was speechless. It seemed that her worries were unnecessary. However, she thought for a while and said to Di Haotian, "Let the two of them sit in one class and one seat." Chapter 837. Tang Bao snorted disdainfully in her heart. "Why didn't you say that you would listen to me just now?" Xiao Bao was the happiest. "Yay! I can sit with my brother now. When I grow up, I want to sit with my brother too. I will never be separated from my brother." Tang Bao looked at her and smiled. "When you grow up, you can still sit with your brother? Why not?" Xiao Bao thought of something and asked, "My brother and I can live and sleep together like Daddy and Mommy. In that case, are we going to get married? Brother, let's get married, okay?" Bao looked at her. Tang Bao was speechless. This little rascal was thinking too much. However, she felt that she was not imposing enough. Hence, she kept hinting at Di Haotian with her eyes. "It's time for you to shine." However, at this critical moment, Di Haotian did not seem to understand her. He only looked at Tang Bao with an affectionate gaze. "She's as cute as you." Tang Bao's eyelids twitched. "I don't have any intention of marrying my brother." However, when they got into the car, Di Haotian held her waist and devoured her little mouth. "Don't. Di Haotian, what are you doing?" Tang Bao, who was released from his little mouth, tried to wipe the saliva on her mouth with her hand but was stopped by Di Haotian. "Who told you to wipe it?" "Can't I wipe it? What do two people need to have a stable relationship?" Di Haotian asked. "What?" Tang Bao was stunned. "Reciprocity demands reciprocity." Tang Bao thought for a while, and then her face turned red. She looked at him uncertainly. "By reciprocity, don't tell me, you want me to kiss you back?" Di Haotian's dark eyes were deep and affectionate, but the corners of his mouth were raised in a devilish arc. This person. Can reciprocity be used in this way? He might as well just say that he was evil. "You have a problem with that? Do you have to be so evil?" Tang Bao glared at him with a flushed face. Her watery eyes were not threatening at all. "Taking the initiative to kiss is evil? I'll be even more evil if you don't kiss me." Di Haotian's black eyes glowed with a dangerous green light. Tang Bao did not dare to ask Di Haotian what would happen. That was a scene that could make one blush just thinking about it. Therefore, Tang Bao had no choice but to quickly kiss Di Haotian's thin lips under Di Haotian's beast-like gaze. Originally, this kind of action was nothing, but being stared at by Di Haotian's dark eyes was definitely abnormal. It was full of the danger of being swallowed by Di Haotian again at any time. "Forget it, let me do it." Just when Tang Bao felt that it was enough, she heard Di Haotian say, "What?" Tang Bao's clear eyes widened. She could not believe that Di Haotian really kissed her again. Tang Bao could not believe it. After this torment, Tang Bao's breathing quickened and her face turned red. She wanted to cry but had no tears. Di Haotian did it on purpose. Just when she was about to take the initiative, Di Haotian's dark eyes had already started to feel that something was wrong. After the kiss, Tang Bao leaned against Di Haotian's arms, out of breath. "Di Haotian, Di Haotian's voice was hoarse. "One day, I'll die in your hands." Di Haotian raised his eyebrows evilly. "How will I die?" Tang Bao covered her eyes with the back of her hand in despair. She did not know that by doing so, her exposed little mouth would be even more conspicuous. Therefore Di Haotian pecked it again. "That's enough." Tang Bao quickly grabbed Di Haotian's hair and pulled it away. She glared at him and said, "Are you done? I still have something to settle with you." "What is it?" Di Haotian asked, but his dark eyes kept staring at Tang Bao's little mouth. "I don't believe that you couldn't read my eyes when we were having breakfast." Tang Bao was unhappy. "Are you referring to the fact that they want to get married? Isn't that a problem?" Tang Bao was surprised by Di Haotian's calmness. "I'm just saying, don't take it seriously." "Then you should at least correct me. What if Xiao Bao says that she wants to marry her brother in front of her classmates? Won't she be laughed at? Tang Bao was more thoughtful. No, Bao is here. Bao is only 3 years old. Tang Bao reminded him. No matter how smart Bao was, he was still a child. I have confidence in my son. Besides, didn't you call me Big Brother before? Why don't you call me that now? Tang Bao's face twitched. How is that the same? Call me that again. Di Haotian looked at her with deep, loving eyes. I won't call you that. Tang Bao only called him that to coax Di Haotian. You won't call me that? Are you sure? Di Haotian narrowed his dark eyes with a hint of danger. Tang Bao bit her lip. The dangerous signal was too obvious. She was still in Di Haotian's arms. What should she do? Big brother. Good girl. Di Haotian kissed her little mouth. Tang Bao blushed. What kind of hobby was this? Pervert. When they arrived at tea, Tang Bao wanted to go to the studio, but Di Haotian grabbed her waist. Tang Bao panicked. Hey, I'm a man now. Can you not get touchy in tea and cause misunderstandings? Don't worry. Everyone in tea knows that I'm only interested in you. Tang Bao thought that when he said not to worry, he would kill all the comment. However, the last sentence made her break down. Fortunately, she was not a man. Otherwise, she would have been ruined by Di Haotian. What are you doing? Tang Bao could not break free and could only ask helplessly. The more she struggled, the more she attracted the attention of passers-by. The studio is not open yet. What are you going to do? Come with me to the office. Why did Tang Bao not trust Di Haotian so much? She was very sharp now. She did not give Di Haotian anything last night. If she really thought that she was going to the office just to sit around, then why would Di Haotian's gaze be so deep now? No need. I need to check the information online. Also, there will be an interview in the morning. I'll look for you after the interview, okay? Is that okay? Tang Bao could only coax this beast and smooth its fur. How long will it take? I'll look for you after the interview. It shouldn't take too long. Tang Bao was finally free from Di Haotian's clutches. She felt that she should drive here herself in the future. If she were to drive with Di Haotian in the car, it would be like a ticking time bomb that could explode at any time. There was nothing more embarrassing than that. She wondered if Di Haotian would be willing to do that. Tang Bao went into the studio and turned on the computer. She checked her email. She started to wait for the interviewees. Di Haotian went into the office, and the secretary followed him in. Di Haotian asked, How many shares do we have in the Ivy Group now? 40%. It's 5% less than the major shareholder. Then think of a way to get control of the Ivy Group. Di Haotian had not thought much about this before. But it was different now. When the secretary was preparing for the interview, she already knew what to do. The Ivy Group was a private elite school. From kindergarten to university, it belonged to the Ivy Group. Chapter 838. But from the looks of it now, it must be because the children at home wanted to study. Everyone in T knew that Di Haotian had a son and a daughter who were very precious to him. To take over the Ivy Group for the two children, this kind of courage was too scary. But Tang Bao did not know about this plan. She just felt that Di Haotian was too casual with the two children. Tang Bao interviewed 6 staff members in the studio in the morning and only hired 2. Naturally, the 2 of them also had a 1-month probation period. But Tang Bao believed in her own judgment. The phone on the table rang and she looked at the message. Di Haotian sent. Are you done? Tang Bao. Do you have nothing to do? Do you have so much free time? Di Haotian. I'm in a meeting. Tang Bao was stunned. You're texting me in a meeting? Di Haotian. I can do 2 things at once. Tang Bao. Just focus on your meeting. I'll be done soon. Di Haotian. What do you want to eat for lunch? Tang Bao really wanted to laugh. This person was thinking about what she wanted to eat for lunch in a meeting. What would the other executives think of him if they knew? But she felt that Di Haotian would not care. Tang Bao thought for a while and replied, "What I want to eat depends on your performance. Di Haotian, whatever you want to eat." Tang Bao was stunned for a moment, then she smiled and said, "So generous? Then I'll have to think about it carefully." Di Haotian looked at the reply and thought of Tang Bao's current expression. The corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. The executive who was talking saw Di Haotian's smile, and did not dare to say anything. Why did he suddenly smile? Why did he have a creepy feeling? Zhou Jisen naturally also noticed the expression on Di Haotian's face, but he pretended not to see it. Anyway, he knew what Di Haotian was doing without thinking. Holding the phone. Only men and women in love would hold their phones all the time. Just as Tang Bao was about to put down his phone, he received another text message. Di Haotian, what, have you made up your mind? Tang Bao, no. Otherwise, you can dig out your heart for me to eat. After replying, Tang Bao thought about what he had said and laughed. He laughed so hard that tears were about to flow out of his eyes. However, at that moment there was a knock on the door. Could it be that Di Haotian was already here to settle the score with her? When she turned around, she saw someone who surprised her. Yu Songhuan. Yu Songhuan didn't look too good. He walked in and asked, "Did I disturb you?" "No, please take a seat." Tang Bao put away his happy mood and greeted Yu Songhuan. She knew why Yu Songhuan was looking for her. He must have felt indignant that he didn't see her in the castle earlier. Tang Bao turned around and poured a cup of tea for her. "You don't have to pour tea for me. I don't want to drink it. I'm here to talk to you about something. I'll leave after that." Tang Bao didn't continue to pour tea for her and sat down opposite her. Yu Songhuan looked at Tang Bao and disliked her more and more. He only knew that this person was shamelessly seducing his son. When he came in just now, he saw her holding her phone and laughing. She must be with Di Haotian, right? When he thought of this, he couldn't suppress the anger in his heart. "How much do you want?" Tang Bao was stunned. He didn't understand Yu Songhuan's opening words. "What do you mean? Aren't you following my son for money? How much do you want? I'll give it to you and you'll leave immediately." Why did Tang Bao feel that this conversation was very familiar? Oh right. When she was still Tang Bao, Yu Songhuan had offered her money like this to make her leave Di Haotian. Tang Bao originally wanted to tell Yu Songhuan the truth and say that she was Tang Bao, but now she didn't want to say it. Even if she said it, she would probably be humiliated. "Do you like to use money to measure people who get close to Di Haotian?" Tang Bao asked. "Isn't that so? A man losing his dignity and following another man. I'm sure there are a lot of such things in the entertainment industry, right? How much money do you want? Just tell me. No matter how much you want, I'll give it to you." Tang Bao knew that Yu Songhuan was rich, but she didn't like money. Yu Songhuan had found the wrong person from the beginning. "Sorry, I'm not following Di Haotian for money." "Don't tell me you like him? Can you not disgust me? How can two men talk about liking each other? How did your parents teach you to have such a twisted personality?" Tang Bao's expression changed and her heart sank. "To me, my parents are the best parents in the world. You can criticize me, but don't criticize them. If that's the case, I'm sure you respect and love your parents very much. Why do you still do such a thing? Don't you think for them? It's just like how as a mother, I don't want my son to have an ambiguous relationship with another man. My parents are definitely not like you. I'm curious about your parents' character. I'm already tolerating you by giving you money. Don't pretend to be virtuous in front of me. Take the money and leave quickly." Yu Songhuan directly placed a card in front of Tang Bao. Tang Bao looked at the card and thought that it wasn't even as much as the pocket money Di Haotian gave her. However, even if it was more than what Di Haotian gave her, she wouldn't care about it. She pushed the card in front of Yu Songhuan and said, "Take it back. I don't want it. If you really have a lot of money, you can spend it on your grandchildren. As for me, you can ignore me." "Aren't you going to ask how much money is in there?" I'm still willing to give you money now, so take it. Otherwise, if Di Haotian abandons you one day, you won't have a single cent. How much money? Even if there's 10 billion or 100 billion in there, I won't take it. Leave. Tang Bao didn't want to talk to her anymore. She stood up. Yu Songhuan stood up angrily and said, "What do you want?" "I want your son," Tang Bao blurted out. You're really smart. If you want my son, you'll need more than 100 billion. You've got a good plan. Yu Songhuan was shaking with anger. Ever since she entered the wealthy family, Li Yuhuai was not the only person she had to deal with. None of them were so difficult to deal with. Di Haotian is in a meeting right now. If he finds out that you're here after the meeting, he won't let you off easily. I don't want you to fight with each other. You'd better leave. Tang Bao reminded her kindly. No matter how much she and Yu Songhuan didn't see eye to eye, she didn't want them to fight because of her. She knew Di Haotian's temper all too well. It was impossible for Yu Songhuan not to understand his son's character. Don't doubt my words. Di Haotian can see the surveillance cameras outside. Tang Bao was telling the truth. I'll leave the card here. You'd better think carefully. If I threaten Di Haotian with my life, do you really think you'll have a good ending? Yu Songhuan was never someone who would threaten with his life. It was obvious that she was at her wits' end. She would never let Di Haotian have another man. After saying that, she turned and left. Chapter 839. The phone on the table rang. Tang Bao walked over and looked at the caller ID. She calmed herself down and answered the call. Di Haotian's deep and unhappy voice came from the other end. "You're not done yet? I wanted to wait for you to finish your meeting before going over. Come over now," Di Haotian said in a domineering tone. "Okay." Tang Bao hung up the phone. She picked up the card on the coffee table and put it into her briefcase. She would return it to Yu Songhuan later. What did he want her money for? When Tang Bao entered the emperor family, no one stopped her. She was unimpeded. She might be the only one who could enter without the T logo. When she reached her floor, the elevator door opened. Tang Bao walked out of the elevator but stopped in her tracks. She saw Di Haotian leaning against the elevator door in a lazy manner. "Are you waiting for me here?" Tang Bao asked. "Yes." Tang Bao was speechless. "I told you I was coming over. You told me half an hour ago that you would come over immediately," Di Haotian pointed out. Tang Bao did not say anything. "Isn't that because your mother is here? Otherwise, I wouldn't be so slow." "I'm hungry." Tang Bao changed the topic. She knew that as long as she said she was hungry, Di Haotian would definitely not ignore her. Di Haotian walked past her, took her hand and walked into his office with a silent dominance. Tang Bao went into the office and thought that Di Haotian was going to take something and leave with her. She did not expect him to go straight into Di Haotian's private dining room. As soon as she entered, she saw all kinds of exquisite and delicious dishes on the dining table in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows. The fragrance assailed his nostrils, making Tang Bao's stomach really hungry. Di Haotian took her briefcase and put it aside. "Go wash your hands." "Okay." Tang Bao turned around and washed her hands. After washing her hands, she went to the dining table with Di Haotian. "Slow down, don't choke." Di Haotian frowned. "No." Tang Bao chewed the meat and said, "This meat is so tender and fragrant." "Then eat more." Di Haotian scooped soup for her and placed it in front of her. "Drink some soup. Don't choke." Tang Bao scooped up a mouthful of food with his spoon. After swallowing all the food in his mouth, he asked, "Di Haotian, which new restaurant made these dishes?" "Every dish is unique." 6 restaurants. "What do you mean?" "Every restaurant has 2 specialties." The Tang Bao froze in the middle of scooping soup. "Aren't you exaggerating? Don't you like to eat?" The Tang Bao did like to eat, but he had never seen such exaggerated dishes. "If you like to eat, you can change restaurants next time. You don't have to go to 6 restaurants, do you?" Every restaurant has ordinary dishes other than specialties. Of course, they have to give you the best, Di Haotian said matter-of-factly. Tang Bao looked at the 12 dishes in front of him. There were so many that he would definitely not be able to finish them. Ever since she met Di Haotian, these were nothing to her. She was used to it. However, this was the first time she had heard of going to 6 restaurants. However, she had never had the chance to eat with Di Haotian like this in tea. She had once, when Di Haotian had lost his memory. He would definitely not care about her tastes and hobbies. Her studio was just next door. Would she eat like this in the future? She felt that according to her normal income, the money she made would only be enough for her to eat for a month. She would have to scrimp on the rest. When the studio opens in the future, I won't come over to eat. I don't want to run around like this. It's troublesome. Tang Bao did not want to be so high-profile. Okay. Tang Bao approved in her heart. He took her words to heart. Call the dishes to your office. I'll go over to eat, Di Haotian added. Tang Bao's expression froze. Forget it. Just pretend that she didn't say anything. This person was really unreasonable. He must be used to being in control. After eating and drinking to her heart's content, Tang Bao collapsed on the sofa and rubbed her stomach. I ate too much. Di Haotian looked at her with a deep smile. He took her briefcase and pulled her up. Let's go to my office. I don't want to move. Then I'll carry you. Tang Bao immediately stood up and walked in front of Di Haotian faster than anything else. They walked out of his private restaurant and went to Di Haotian's office. Along the way, there were still people who looked at her respectfully. However, when they saw Di Haotian appear behind her, they immediately lowered their heads and stood aside respectfully. When Di Haotian walked past them, they walked away in fear. After arriving at Di Haotian's office, Tang Bao still collapsed on the sofa. She felt that she had become lazy after eating. She was unguarded and lazy. The figure next to her came over, hugged her, and kissed her hard. He even touched her all over. No! Why not? You didn't even let me touch you last night. Di Haotian was like a pitiful beast. He only had that in his mind. Compared to before, I'm like a monk. Tang Bao's mouth twitched. Monk? He actually said that he was a monk? How could he have the nerve to say that? Although it was not every day, he had not been mistreated every week. Who did it every time I couldn't get out of bed in the morning? Me. You know that and you still have the cheek to call yourself a monk? Then tell me, compared to before, am I almost as pure as a monk? Di Haotian's thin lips were about to move forward again. Tang Bao avoided him. You're exaggerating. Hey Di Haotian, stop it. Di Haotian, stop. His dark eyes were shining like a wolf's. In an hour. When did she agree to it? Di Haotian reached out and pinched her chin lovingly. Where's your cell phone? In my briefcase. Di Haotian stood up. Tang Bao heaved a sigh of relief and leaned her head against the back of the sofa. She had finally gotten rid of this person. But what did he want her cell phone for? Tang Bao squinted her eyes like a lazy cat basking in the sun. The next second, her eyes suddenly widened in shock. She quickly stood up. Don't touch my briefcase, her words stopped abruptly. Tang Bao saw that Di Haotian was holding a card between his fingers. It was the card that Yu Songhuan had given her an hour and a half ago. Tang Bao's body stiffened. This person should not be able to tell that there was something wrong with this card, right? It was normal to have an extra card in one's briefcase. Di Haotian looked at her sharply with his long and narrow eyes. Are you that nervous? Of course not. Tang Bao walked forward. You want my cell phone? I want to help you. As she spoke, she walked in front of Di Haotian and was about to take the card from him. Di Haotian retracted his hand and she missed. Where did you get the card from? Di Haotian asked. It's mine. You don't have this card in your wallet. I went to get it done this morning. I needed to transfer money, so I went to get one. Chapter 840. It's just a card. Why would I lie? Besides, how can you say that I'm lying? All the bank cards this year have a starting number of 8. Your card is still a 6, which means that it's an old card. Did you do it today? Do you want me to investigate whether you've been to the bank? Di Haotian looked at her with deep and stern eyes. Tang Bao was speechless. Di Haotian was indeed Di Haotian. He even found out about it. What a shrewd man. What's going on? Di Haotian asked when he saw that she was hesitating to speak. Your mother came to me and gave me money to buy some food for your son and daughter. Tang Bao looked into Di Haotian's dark eyes and immediately told him the truth. Okay. She gave me money to leave you. Di Haotian looked at her coldly. The aura around him was so intimidating. I accepted it because I was going to return it to her. Tang Bao knew what Di Haotian was thinking. He thought that she had accepted the money, right? What kind of person do you think I am? If I leave you, why do you need to give me money? If I don't leave you, it's useless even if you give me money. I don't care about it. Di Haotian restrained his anger, but his face was still cold. He did not say a word. The whole office was especially oppressive. I didn't tell you because I wanted to solve it myself. I don't want you to have a conflict with her because of me. She's doing this for your own good. Think about it. If Erbao brings a man home one day, won't I have a heart attack? I wanted to tell her that I'm Tang Bao, but I thought about it and decided not to. Di Haotian did not ask why Tang Bao did not say anything. He was sure that Tang Bao did not say anything because Yu Songhuan said something unpleasant. However, even if Tang Bao said that, Di Haotian's face was still cold. Even if you want to solve it yourself, you shouldn't hide it from me. I'm afraid that you'll go look for your mother. Di Haotian did not say anything. He threw the card aside and took out his phone from his Tang Bao bag. He then turned around and walked to his desk. Tang Bao looked at his back and asked, "What are you doing with my phone?" Di Haotian did not say anything. After a while, he turned around and handed the phone to Tang Bao. Tang Bao saw that the mobile phone in Di Haotian's hand had changed. It looked exactly the same as the mobile phone Di Haotian had given her. Use this in the future. Put the card in, Di Haotian said. Tang Bao took it from him. When his palm touched the phone, he felt a sense of nostalgia. At that time, Di Haotian had given her 2 phones of this model, but she had destroyed them both. At that time, she liked this style very much. However, after leaving Di Haotian, she felt that some things did not belong to her no matter how much she liked them. My phone is fine. Why did you change it for me? This phone style is exclusive to you. What do you mean? You just need to know that it's not available on the market. I'm not such a domineering person. It doesn't matter. Tang Bao said this, but there was a sweet taste in her heart for no reason. You are unique in my heart. Naturally, the things you use are also unique, Di Haotian said firmly. Tang Bao pursed her lips. She did not want to smile too obviously. Otherwise, wouldn't she be showing her inner emotions on her face? Don't think that I won't be angry just because of this. Di Haotian's expression suddenly changed. Tang Bao stared blankly for a moment. This person was really too unpredictable. Tang Bao knew why he was angry. Then what can I do to make you not angry? You know what you're doing. How about I serve you in an hour? I can think about it. Tang Bao turned around and looked at the wine cabinet. How about you give me some wine? Wine? After drinking wine, I'll be braver. Tang Bao said with a slightly red face. She believed that with Di Haotian's IQ, he would not be unable to understand. It's bad for your health. You're not allowed to drink. Di Haotian thought of how Tang Bao drank wine earlier and his expression turned cold. Tang Bao did not say anything, but in her heart she thought, I thought you wouldn't care about anything for your own comfort. This made Tang Bao very satisfied. Therefore, when they were in the lounge in the afternoon, no matter how Di Haotian treated Tang Bao, she could not say anything. She could only gasp for breath. Tang Bao did not come out of the lounge for the whole afternoon. Di Haotian finally got the opportunity. How could he let her go so easily? Di Haotian breathed heavily and kissed her flushed little face. Bao, what's wrong? How am I going to walk out of tea later? Tang Bao breathed heavily. It was already dangerous for her to walk out of tea now. Was she going to be carried out? Carrying a man? Did it have to be so exciting? Could she please consider the feelings of the tea staff? Then we'll stay here tonight. No, I want to go back for dinner. Then let's do it again. Tang Bao definitely did not want Di Haotian to carry her. She wanted to walk on her own. However, when her feet touched the ground, she fell to the ground. Fortunately, Di Haotian caught her in time. Otherwise, she would have fallen hard. Let go of me. I'll walk out on my own. Tang Bao insisted. I've asked someone to clear the outside. After entering my personal elevator, it will go straight to the underground parking lot. No one will see you. Di Haotian comforted her. He did not forget to kiss her lips. Are you sure no one will see us? Tang Bao asked with uncertainty. No, they won't. After being carried out of the office by Di Haotian, she did not see anyone. After entering the elevator, Tang Bao looked up and saw the surveillance camera. She asked Di Haotian, Did anyone see this? Yes. Didn't you say no? Does this count? Why doesn't it count? If they spout nonsense, I'll cut off their tongues. Do you know what they're talking about behind your back? Tang Bao was unhappy. Why are you so afraid of people finding out? You're my wife. We're legally married. What are you worried about? I'm not worried. I'm not T's staff anyway. Don't you care that people are talking about you behind your back? You even ignored work for the whole afternoon and went out with a man in your arms. I don't care. Di Haotian looked at her with his dark eyes, full of interest. It was really as he said. He did not care at all. Tang Bao bit her lip and buried her head in Di Haotian's broad shoulder. She said sulkily, Is it too late for me to cover my face now? Why don't you guess? It's too late. Tang Bao was so angry that she opened her mouth and bit Di Haotian's shoulder. She even bit his clothes. She was not happy with the bite and let go. Be good. I'll let you bite me when we get back in the car. Di Haotian doted on Tang Bao. After they got into the car, Di Haotian really took off his jacket and let her bite him. Tang Bao did not feel anything. I'm not biting anymore. Chapter 841. I'm not doing it. Be good, just bite me once. Tang Bao saw that the more Di Haotian demanded, the more she did not dare to bite him. Who knew what Di Haotian would do? But Di Haotian was not the kind of person who would give up if you did not want him. He pulled Tang Bao into his arms and asked in a hoarse voice, You're really not going to bite me? Have you forgotten that someone saw us in the elevator? Tang Bao bit her lip and stared at Di Haotian with her watery eyes. Would this person not stop until he bit her? Did you ask me to bite you? Tang Bao was not going to be polite with him at all. She wanted to teach him a lesson. So, Tang Bao opened her mouth and bit down hard. Ouch, Bao. Di Haotian held her head and pressed it against his chest. Tang Bao felt that she had bitten too hard and her teeth were sore. She had forgotten how hard Di Haotian's chest muscles were. Tang Bao looked up and looked at Di Haotian with dissatisfaction. Are you satisfied? Yes. Di Haotian said and pressed down on Tang Bao. The next day, in T's office, the roses on the table were still beautiful and eye-catching. Di Haotian made a call to the bungalow. Why are you looking for her? Look, if he's not scheming, why would he complain to you? Yu Songhuan immediately caught on to this point and made a big fuss about it. He's following you for a reason. Are you bewitched? If he's such a simple person, he won't let you know about this. Do you think she can hide it from me if I want to know? Isn't the extra card yours? You can find anyone, but not a man. Yu Songhuan also became tough. I've said before, she's Tang Bao. Di Haotian's face was gloomy. He just looks like Tang Bao. You can't see it clearly. Haotian, do you want me to die in my old age? Nothing has ever made me worry about you since you were a child. But why did you change completely after you married Tang Bao? Not a single thing was right. What do you want me to tell your father and grandfather after I die? Have you ever thought about me and the reputation of the D clan? I love the Tang Bao. Is that wrong? But that's not the Tang Bao. If Tang Bao comes back, will you still make things difficult for her? Di Haotian asked. Not anymore. I hope you'll keep your word. Otherwise, I'll never see you again. You will know when we return to the castle for dinner tonight. After hanging up, Yu Songhuan didn't understand Di Haotian's intentions. Those words were vicious enough. But why did he say that he wanted to go to the castle for dinner? What was waiting for her? Aunt Wang looked at Yu Songhuan's dazed expression and asked, Old madam, if one of them is young madam and the other is that man, will you accept young madam? Is there a need to ask? If the Tang Bao is really alive, I will accept her. It's better than having Haotian keep an eye on a man, right? Yu Songhuan naturally knew how to weigh the pros and cons. Not to mention the Tang Bao, it would be fine as long as it was a woman. In the castle hall, the Tang Bao didn't go out during the day. Anyway, the studio hadn't officially opened yet. She had to focus on the two babies now. They were going to school soon. At this moment, she was teaching Xiao Bao how to read on the sofa. Bao was also writing on the small desk next to her. What's this? Tang Bao asked as he pointed at the person on the card. Person, Xiao Bao said after thinking for a while. What's the +1 horizontal line? Tang Bao pointed at the big on the side and asked. Big. The cake is very big. Big. Xiao Bao said happily. Tang Bao was stunned. Who taught her that? Only someone who knew her well would teach her that. What about this? What's the plus point at the bottom? Tang Bao pointed at the tie and asked again. Xiao Bao tilted her head and thought for a while. Then, her eyes lit up. Dog! What? Tang Bao was stunned. He felt like he had been hit on the head with a stick. How can this be a dog? No, it's called, what's the word called? I remember now. It's called a dog. Tang Bao was speechless. Who taught you that? My brother taught me. Bao, who was writing, looked at them silently. His expressionless face showed that he didn't want to explain. Of course, Tang Bao knew that it wasn't Bao who taught him that. This is called Tai, not dog. The dots of the two characters are at the top and the bottom. Look, this is called a dog. Tang Bao patiently wrote out the words for Xiao Bao. Xiao Bao frowned. What strange words. But even though you got it wrong, at least you know that a dog is a dog. That's great. Xiao Bao was happy. Really? Yes. Tang Bao encouraged her. Tang Bao sighed in relief. To be honest, she had never been so patient even when she was studying. Yu Songhuan walked into the hall and saw the scene. He couldn't believe it and was speechless. Tang Bao was still teaching Xiao Bao when he was stunned by Yu Songhuan, who suddenly appeared in front of him. She also realized how she was dressed in the castle. Except for her short hair, she looked like a Tang Bao. Yesterday, she was still arguing with Yu Songhuan. Today, she looked like a Tang Bao. It was no wonder that Yu Songhuan looked like he couldn't accept it. You're not dead? Yu Songhuan still stared at Tang Bao's face in disbelief. Before Tang Bao could say anything, the two little guys looked unhappy. Xiao Bao ran to Yu Songhuan. Grandma, why did you say that my mommy will die? Mommy won't die. Mommy will live until she's 1,000 years old. She looked like she was about to cry because Yu Songhuan had said something he shouldn't have. Yu Songhuan quickly comforted her. No, that's not what Grandma meant. Be good, don't cry. Grandma can't wait to dote on you. Tang Bao was a little nervous. 1,000 years old? Have I become an old hag now? Alright, no matter what Xiao Bao said, it was 1,000 years. She would just treat it as 100 years. Di Haotian walked in. What's wrong? Tang Bao said, It's nothing. Xiao Bao, are you hungry? I'm hungry. Xiao Bao immediately forgot about her crying when she heard about food. Yu Songhuan listened to the voice that belonged to Tang Bao. Only then did he seem to be sure that Tang Gu was really the Tang Bao. Di Haotian had told her from the beginning, but she didn't believe him. Now, she had no choice but to believe him. When they were eating at the dining table, Yu Songhuan looked like she couldn't come back to her senses. She was starting to blame her son now. How could she know if he was telling the truth? She thought that he was obsessed and insisted on mistaking a man for Tang Bao. Now, she was very embarrassed. Fortunately, there were children around. Otherwise, the atmosphere would be even more unnatural. Could it be that she was the only one who didn't know about it? Zhang Li had told her about this man last time. Now, it seemed that she knew. Zhang Li, who had been coldly glanced at, looked very innocent. Chapter 842. She couldn't help but look at Di Haotian. What does this have to do with you? I already said that I would settle it, but you just had to interfere, bastard. After dinner, the two babies went to play. Di Haotian, Tang Bao, and Yu Songhuan sat in the living room. Since you're back, why didn't you just tell me the truth? Did you think it was fun when I went to look for you yesterday? Yu Songhuan asked, pulling a long face. If I said that, would you think that I'm crazy? Tang Bao asked. Yu Songhuan had nothing to say. That was indeed the case. For a man to say that he was the Tang Bao, he was either too engrossed in the act or playing with her. She wouldn't believe it no matter what. She might even scold him with worse words. It's okay. Let bygones be bygones. I didn't take it to heart. That card. Yu Songhuan immediately said, that's for the children. It's for them to buy some food and necessities. Oh, okay. Tang Bao took it as giving the other party a way out and accepted it. Yu Songhuan wasn't wrong. After all, they were her biological grandchildren. It was normal to give them some money. If that's the case, I have to go back, Yu Songhuan said and left. In the living room, Tang Bao looked at Di Haotian and glared at him. You're such a good son. How can you blame me? She didn't believe it herself, so I could only use this method. Although it made her lose face, at least she won't have to worry about her son circling around a man all day. Di Haotian looked at Tang Bao with his dark eyes. Tang Bao chose to ignore him and turned away. That's good too. I won't have to trouble myself in the future. However, Yu Songhuan didn't ask her anything else. He probably wouldn't be able to get an answer from her. Thinking back, if it wasn't for her, how could things have turned out this way? Yu Songhuan would be too embarrassed to ask her about it himself. That's good too. She could accept it like this, not care about the past, and get along without any conflict. There were advantages to letting Di Haotian handle this. At least, no matter what his son did, he wouldn't say anything. It was different for a wife. What are you thinking about? Di Haotian moved closer and put his arm around her waist. I'm thinking. Is school starting next week? Let's go together then. You're going to? Tang Bao was stunned. After that, he realized that he had asked the wrong question. He could clearly feel that something was wrong with Di Haotian's aura. What I mean is, will anyone recognize you? I don't want others to treat the two treasures differently. Many people would definitely be interested in the child of the Emperor City's king. It's even better if you know. Otherwise, won't you be bullied? Do you think Erbao will be bullied? Aren't you underestimating yourself too much? Tang Bao retorted with Di Haotian's words. You're right. But it doesn't matter if they know about this. We should let them know that we're their people to deal with. Don't worry. Okay. Tang Bao thought about it and agreed. Moreover, the children in the Ivy League were either rich or respectable. They should be able to play together. On the day of the Ivy League's opening ceremony, Di Haotian and Tang Bao brought the two treasures to school to attend their opening ceremony. On the stage, the school's leaders gave a speech and the seniors performed. Di Haotian and Tang Bao sat below the stage. Di Haotian wore sunglasses. His expression was cold and his thin lips were pursed. He had an imposing aura even though he wasn't angry. He would always attract attention, especially from women. Tang Bao wasn't dressed as a man today. He was dressed as a woman with long hair and a dress. It wasn't like she didn't see those women peeping at Di Haotian. Anyway, she was used to it and pretended not to see it. Just as she was focused on the performance on the stage, her hand was wrapped. It was firm and rough to the touch. She didn't need to look to know who it was. It was on her left. Who else could it be other than Di Haotian? Of course, Tang Bao was also afraid of being seen. They were here to attend the children's opening ceremony. Why were the two of them being so intimate? It was immoral. Tang Bao wanted to withdraw her hand. However, Di Haotian's strength wasn't something an ordinary person could shake. After a few tries, Di Haotian didn't move at all. Tang Bao secretly glared at him, but he pretended not to see it. Then, a low and hoarse voice sounded in her ear. "If you move again, I'll kiss you." Tang Bao did not move. There were already women staring at Di Haotian. If she were to be kissed, wouldn't she be seen clearly by everyone? Therefore, Tang Bao endured it. After the opening ceremony, the family took photos on the school lawn. Tang Bao was prepared to take a photo properly. She and Di Haotian stood in front of the two little guys. After standing in position, He Ju was about to press the shutter. Tang Bao felt a tightness on her shoulder and she was pulled into Di Haotian's arms. Tang Bao instinctively turned to glare at Di Haotian. Thus, the shot was frozen. After taking the photo, Tang Bao saw He Ju put away his phone and quickly said, "Take another photo. I didn't stand properly just now." "Young master, do you want to take another photo?" He Ju asked. "Sure." This time they took a photo properly. However, Di Haotian's hand was not obedient and was holding Tang Bao's waist. This was much better than before, so Tang Bao didn't say anything. As long as it wasn't too much, she could accept it. When the two babies went to play elsewhere, Di Haotian pulled Tang Bao to take photos again. "Do you like to take photos?" Tang Bao asked. "I like to take photos with you." Tang Bao's face heated up, but she didn't say anything. Then, Di Haotian held up his phone and took photos with the school as the background. Tang Bao was being rubbed around by Di Haotian. She posed in all kinds of positions. There was also a photo of her hugging Di Haotian's waist. It was really intimate. Tang Bao looked around and said, "Di Haotian, why didn't the school's leaders come to look for you?" "I warned them," Di Haotian said without changing his expression. That made sense. She was wondering why they didn't recognize Di Haotian. It must be more than just a warning, right? Di Haotian's bodyguards and the crowd in the distance couldn't wait to stop anyone. No wonder it was so quiet. The two babies soon played with the other children. They were all playing in the school's amusement park. A few children gathered together and bragged. After bragging, they asked Xiao Bao, who was silent at the side, "I have a lot of beautiful dolls. How many do you have?" Xiao Bao said, 1,000. "So many? I only have a dozen." The other children were envious. Bao looked at Xiao Bao. "Your dress is really beautiful." The other children looked at Xiao Bao's dress. "Yeah, I have 1,000 dresses." Xiao Bao was delighted. Bao was speechless. Xiao Bao didn't know the concept of 1,000 at all. He had taught her before that she should count as many as she could. She shouldn't say 1,000 at once. Wasn't she afraid of scaring people? The others were already so shocked that they couldn't close their mouth. Tang Bao took the phone from Di Haotian's hand and said, "Let me see." Di Haotian showed it to her. Chapter 843. It was just that the background was different. When she saw the first photo, she was being hugged by Di Haotian, and she instinctively glared at him. It was very real and there was no intention of posing. However, it made her heart beat faster. It was as if she was having some kind of emotional interaction with Di Haotian. Tang Bao took the opportunity to delete the photo. However, it was taken away in the next second. I haven't finished looking at it. Tang Bao was unhappy. If I show it to you again, I'll delete it. Tang Bao blushed a little as he was seen through. I don't think that photo is good. I like it the most. The next day, Di Haotian and Tang Bao sent the two babies to school. After entering the classroom, Di Haotian and Tang Bao turned around and left. However, when they turned the corner, Tang Bao turned around and leaned against the window to peek. Di Haotian. Bao did not seem to be affected. His expression was about the same as at home. It was just that Xiao Bao looked a little pitiful. She clung tightly to Bao as if she was very scared. Then she saw Bao holding Xiao Bao's hand and not letting go. When he was playing with the other children, he also pulled Xiao Bao along. After a while, Xiao Bao got used to it and smiled. Tang Bao, who was peeking, heaved a sigh of relief. Are you relieved? Di Haotian asked with a smile in his dark eyes. Tang Bao put his hands on his waist. Aren't you worried? Didn't you see Xiao Bao's pitiful face? Bao is very sensible, but don't forget that he's only 3 years old. Di Haotian came closer and hugged her. They looked out of the window together and whispered in her ear, Look, they're playing very well. Inside, Bao and Xiao Bao were indeed playing with the crystal clay with the other children under the guidance of their teacher. They were being asked to mold the people or things they liked. What do you think Bao and Xiao Bao will make? Tang Bao asked Di Haotian curiously. How about this? You make a guess. If you're right, I'll let you off tonight. If you're wrong, I can do whatever I want with you. What do you think? The corners of Tang Bao's mouth twitched. When have I not allowed you to play with me? Did she have any say in this matter? I'm not guessing. She was afraid of guessing wrong. If you don't guess, then you've given up. If you surrender, then you'll still be at my mercy. Tang Bao really wanted to bite him to death. Play, 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 one day I'll be played to death by you. But what if she won? Wouldn't that mean he could have a peaceful night? All right, I'll bet with you. My guess is that Xiao Bao knows how to make a cake in Bao. Tang Bao pondered. Could he be making a book? Ball? It could also be a person. Who was this person? Di Haotian? Her? Tang Bao felt that the possibility of the two babies making an object was higher. It's almost time. Tang Bao was depressed. He was counting the time. Xiao Bao makes a cake and Bao makes a book. He thought about how Bao usually liked to read. It should be this. Di Haotian's lips curled into a sexy and charming smile. Bao, you guessed all wrong. Impossible. Tang Bao was nervous. I got all of them right. Then let's wait and see. Di Haotian's hot breath gushed into Tang Bao's ear. Tang Bao's neck could not help but shrink, as if his fair skin was dyed red. She could not help but turn to glare at Di Haotian. However, her little mouth almost brushed against Di Haotian's thin lips. She was so scared that she quickly behaved herself. Tang Bao endured Di Haotian's harassment and stared at the two babies in the classroom. He thought to himself, didn't they say that a mother and her son's heart are connected? It must be what I think it is, right? Otherwise, I'll be tormented again tonight. However, Tang Bao's eyes widened. He looked at the things in front of the two babies. They did not look like a cake and a book. It was actually two people. Due to technical problems, he could not tell whether it was a man or a woman. But from this point alone, it was obvious that she had lost. The teacher asked, Di Yunxi, you made a person. Then, who did you make? Can you tell me? It's my mommy. Then, Di Banhan, who did you make? My mommy. It seems that you both like your mommy very much. The teacher smiled. Tang Bao looked at the two cute little guys in the classroom and felt very touched. Previously, he was jealous of Di Haotian. Turned out that in their hearts, she was the most important. Now, have you lost? Di Haotian asked. How do you know that I'm wrong? Could it be that you guessed it? If he had known, Tang Bao would have asked Di Haotian to make a guess too. The cake and the book are just external objects. The most important person is you. Di Haotian's voice was very low, but every word he said reached Tang Bao's ears. It filled her heart with happiness. Even if she lost, she was not unhappy at all. Even if Di Haotian did something to her at night, she accepted it willingly. When they left the school, Tang Bao asked, Di Haotian, don't you feel that it's unfair? The two babies made me. You didn't make a single mistake. Shouldn't I? If they really made me, I'll talk to them at night. Why? Di Haotian looked at her with his deep black eyes. You raised them. I've only known them for 2 months. I've forgotten about you in just over 2 months. If that's not an ingrate, then what is? You can't say that. Don't we still have blood ties? Your blood ties are more deeply rooted. Tang Bao looked at Di Haotian. He really did not care about this. Since he did not care, she did not say anything. We'll pick them up at 4 o'clock, Di Haotian said. Okay. Tang Bao nodded. When they came to pick up the two babies at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they were very happy. Di Haotian carried them into the car with each arm. In the car, Tang Bao asked, How do you feel about your first day of school today? Bao said, Not bad. Tang Bao could not help but laugh. Not bad? What else do you want? Xiao Bao rushed to answer, I feel very happy. At noon, the teacher even gave us food. What did you have for lunch? Tang Bao asked. Meat, green vegetables, Xiao Bao said. Did you eat all of them? Mommy said to eat all of them, so I ate them. But I saw that brother didn't eat carrots, Xiao Bao immediately complained. Bao's little face was a little embarrassed. He had been protecting her in school, but she complained when she came back? Tang Bao glared at Bao. Didn't I tell you not to be picky with your food? Bao said reluctantly, Okay. Xiao Bao went up to him. Brother, are you angry? Bao looked at her. No. Why would he be angry with her over such a small matter? He was not that petty. Brother has to eat carrots, or else he will get sick, Xiao Bao said. Bao pursed his lips and did not say anything, but he felt very comfortable when he heard that. So she was worried that he would get sick. Mommy, I want to eat cake when we go back. I haven't eaten cake for a day. Xiao Bao pounced on Tang Bao. Didn't the teacher give us food? Tang Bao asked. Chapter 844. Who are you giving it to? Di Haotian asked. Tang Bao thought to herself, Do you have to ask such a question when you already know the answer? Of course it's for you. Who else can I give it to other than you? As she spoke, she even kissed Di Haotian's thin lip. Just as she was about to pull away after the kiss, the back of her neck was held, and he kissed her hard. Tang Bao felt her brain go blank for a moment. She was a little breathless, and her face was even redder. Before things got out of hand, Di Haotian let go of her, and his dark eyes were deep. Of course, Tang Bao was not angry. Not only was she not angry, she even had to smile after being kissed. Me arranging flowers? Arranging flowers is more important than me. Stop it, we still need to eat. Tang Bao pulled his hand away and stood up from his lap. She went to arrange flowers for him. She removed the dead branches in the vase and replaced them with the new ones. Di Haotian wrapped his strong body around her from behind. You will still wither in the future. Then I'll continue to buy more. Tang Bao still did not know what Di Haotian was trying to say. It was not that she was very powerful, but Di Haotian deliberately used a tone that she could understand. Okay. Di Haotian bit her. Stop biting. Let's eat. Where are we going to eat? My private dining room. You didn't send people to go to 6 stores to buy special dishes again, did you? Tang Bao asked. Di Haotian did not say anything, but from the look on Tang Bao's face, she could tell that it was most likely the case. After entering Di Haotian's private dining room, she saw the dishes on the table. Although she did not know if they were special dishes, they looked, smelled, and looked good. She did not ask any further. It was better to just fill her stomach. Di Haotian would not listen to her suggestions anyway. While eating, Tang Bao thought of something and said to Di Haotian, "Do you know the surname of the little boy that I bumped into today? His surname is Di, and he's from the Imperial City." "What's so strange about that?" Tang Bao was surprised. "Not strange? I thought that your family was the only one with this surname in the Imperial City. Many years ago, someone purposely changed his surname and wanted to use the surname Di. It can't be, right? Isn't he afraid that his ancestors will crawl out of their graves?" "Ancestors don't care that much." Di Haotian laughed. "There's also someone who changed his surname to swindle people." Although Tang Bao was quite knowledgeable, this kind of thing was like listening to a story. However, she believed what Di Haotian said. For example, if you wanted to discuss business with someone and say that your surname was Di, you would immediately be able to see the person you wanted to see. The Di family was so powerful in the Imperial City. This was something she had known for a long time. "Then if I change my surname to Di, everything will come true," Tang Bao said jokingly. "You don't need to change it. You're already mine. Your surname is Di. Di Tang Bao." "What an ugly name." "Yes, young Madame Di sounds better." Di Haotian agreed. Tang Bao quickly forgot about the little boy and did not think much of it. In any case, Di Haotian himself said that there would be other people with the surname Di in the Imperial City. At the Ivy Academy kindergarten, a new child had arrived. He was in Tu Bao's class. The teacher introduced him to everyone. "I'm very happy. Little friend Di Bowling has transferred to the Ivy Academy and is in our class. Give little friend Di Bowling a round of applause to welcome him." Then, the children below clapped their little hands sparsely. Then, little Bao moved closer to Tu Bao's ear. "Brother, he has the same surname as us." Amen. After Di Bowling sat down, he heard people talking about him. His little face turned cold as he looked at Tu Bao. Then, using a voice that the other party could hear, he said to little Bao fiercely, "If you speak ill of me again, do you believe that I will lift your skirt?" Little Bao opened his little mouth slightly and was stunned. Then, he shrunk back to Tu Bao's side. This person was so fierce. Tu Bao tried to defend his little sister. "She didn't speak ill of you. She's telling the truth." Di Bowling really didn't like the look of this person. After school, Di Haotian's car came to pick them up outside the school. After Tu Bao got on the car, they discovered that Di Haotian and Tang Bao were also there. Instantly, they were in a good mood. Little Bao threw herself into Tang Bao's arms and complained, "Mommy, there's a new classmate today. He's bad." "Why is he bad?" Tang Bao asked with a smile. "He said that he would lift my skirt." Little Bao pouted unhappily. Tang Bao looked at Di Haotian in astonishment. She found it funny, but she also asked very seriously, "Why did he say that?" "Because after teacher introduced him, I told Big Brother that he has the same surname as us. When he heard that, he said that I was bad-mouthing him and wanted to lift my skirt. I didn't." Little Bao felt wronged. Tang Bao patted her head and comforted her. "He was just scaring you. He wouldn't do that." Little Bao was at a loss. However, Tang Bao thought to herself, could there really be many people with the surname Di in the Imperial City? The little kid they had met by chance previously, and this time, it was Tu Bao's classmate who also had the surname Di. They couldn't be the same person, right? That was hard to say. After all, they were all little kids. Tang Bao asked then, "What's that little kid's name?" Di. Little Bao couldn't remember. Di Bowling, Tu Bao said. Tang Bao was surprised. "It really is him. What a coincidence." Tu Bao asked, "Mommy, do you know him?" "I accidentally bumped into him the last time and got to know him. However, we can't be considered close friends. I only know that's his name," Tang Bao said. Then, he said to Di Haotian, "That kid is chubby and very good-looking. He looks like a smart kid." "No, it's not just looks. I'll know once I talk to him. I was concerned about him, and he asked me if I had any intentions towards him. When I asked him how he was, he said that he didn't like people asking him about his privacy. He's quite a strong-minded kid. I wonder whose family he is. Tu Bao wasn't interested in this and asked, "Did he hurt Mommy?" Tang Bao sweated. "No, I'm an adult. I'm an adult, I won't be hurt by him. I was the one who bumped into him, and to express my apology, I treated him to a meal." "Ah? Mommy, you have to treat me to a meal too." Little Bao was anxious. "This? All right, I'll treat you to a feast back at the castle." "Yay!" Little Bao was delighted. Tang Bao laughed dryly. This child was too easily satisfied. Di Haotian didn't say anything. He just watched this heartwarming scene. His gaze fell on Tang Bao's face. Seeing her smile so deep and doting, he was even more satisfied than Little Bao. Tu Bao didn't say anything either, thinking that he had a plan in mind. That was, if Di Bowling wanted to bully Little Bao again, he knew how to deal with him. Di Bowling stood under a tall tree, looking at the students playing not far away. His cold temperament showed that he didn't want to join in at all. At this moment, something sprayed over from the side and sprayed on his body. Even though it was a small black suit, the red paint on it could be seen clearly because it was a lump. Chapter 845. She turned her face and glared at Di Haotian, while Di Haotian smiled. This scene looked very natural, and also very doting and happy. There was no problem with the photo. But why did he have to cut the two babies? Couldn't he have let them go? It was obvious that Di Haotian's possessiveness had flared up. He didn't even let the two children off. It was almost noon. The two babies should be having lunch at school by now, right? Tang Bao washed up and walked out of the room. She went downstairs. When Zhang Li saw her, he immediately walked over. "Young madam, are you hungry? Shall we eat now?" Tang Bao nodded and asked, "How did the two babies get to school?" She shouldn't have been complained about being an incompetent mother, right? The young master sent them. Tang Bao was stunned. She thought it was the chauffeur who sent them. The young master probably went straight back to tea after sending them off, Zhang Li said. "Okay, I'll eat then." After Tang Bao finished eating, Zhang Li said, "Young madam, the young master asked you to call him after you're done eating." Tang Bao, who was walking out of the restaurant, was stunned. "When did he say that?" "When I sent Bao and Xiao Bao this morning." Tang Bao thought, was there something important? Zhang Li forgot to say? Zhang Li wasn't a forgetful person. Tang Bao was puzzled. She took out her phone and wanted to call Di Haotian. When she saw the screen, she was still not used to it. It was as if Di Haotian was smiling at her, making her face heat up. She turned around to look at Zhang Li. Zhang Li said that he didn't see anything, but the smile on his face didn't say that. Tang Bao moved away from her before calling Di Haotian. "What's wrong? You're awake? Did you sleep well?" Di Haotian asked in a low voice. "You asked me to call you just to ask this?" Tang Bao was depressed. "Can't I ask?" Di Haotian's voice sank. "No." Tang Bao touched his nose. He did not want to reason with the overbearing Di Haotian. "Did they get angry when you sent them to school this morning?" "No, I'm very happy." "Can I discuss something with you?" Tang Bao asked. "No. I haven't even said anything yet." "I know what you're going to say. The world is big, but you're the biggest." The corner of Tang Bao's mouth twitched. This person was truly too evil. She was at a loss for words to describe him. "But I want to give you two treasures as soon as possible. You don't need to send me every day. I'll send you to school for a few days. In the future, I'll get the driver to send you. We'll send them or pick them up when we're free. Don't spoil them." Tang Bao was speechless. "You call this spoiling them? What do you call picking me up in the morning and at night? You're really serious when you say it. Then why did you put a photo on my phone screen? It's fine if you did it, but isn't there 4 people in that photo? It's just the 2 of us now. What's the problem?" No problem. There were 4 people, but now there are 2 people. If you want to send 4 people. No, I want to change it. You can't change it. Why? I've set a password. Tang Bao had forgotten that this phone was given to her by Di Haotian. She did not even know that she could set a password for her screensaver. So in the future, if Di Haotian wanted to do anything to her, she would not be able to do anything? His desire for control was truly abnormally strong. Are you coming to the studio in the afternoon? Di Haotian asked. Yes. Millet and Yu Lianlian are going to see my studio. Can your body take it? Di Haotian asked. How could Tang Bao not hear the evil in his words? If I can't take it, then don't touch me. Di Haotian laughed in a low voice. Tell me when you're there. Didn't you see the surveillance camera? Do you need me to tell you? Tang Bao did not understand. How is this the same? How was it different? The bumpy ride made Tang Bao's body feel a little tired. She almost got out of the car like a pregnant woman. However, when she saw Wan Millet and Yu Lianlian wandering around the studio, she immediately stopped supporting her. Was it glorious to be known by others? Why are you here so early? Tang Bao asked. We can't rest for too long in the afternoon. If you didn't come, we would have left immediately, Wan Millet said. Why, can't you get up in the morning? Yu Lianlian's eyes had a meaningful smile. No, I'm sending the 2 babies to school. When Tang Bao spoke, he did not look at them. Vice President Yu, let me tell you, when Tang Bao lies, his eyes don't dare to look at people. They're always like this, blinking. Wan Millet did not mind exposing Tang Bao. Tang Bao glared at her. Even if you don't tell me, I can tell. Yu Lianlian looked as if she had seen through it. Wan Millet asked curiously, how did you see through it? Look at her eyes, rippling like water. Her face is moist and flushed. Isn't that what a delicate flower looks like after being nourished? Yu Lianlian analyzed. Wan Millet laughed. You're right. Tang Bao was about to fly into a rage out of humiliation. Are you 2 done fooling around? Okay. We won't talk about it anymore. How's the recruitment coming along? Wan Millet asked. Do you want to borrow 2 of Ku Chen's public relations staff? Yu Lianlian asked. They're all women, right? Tang Bao asked. Yes, they're all women. When you were in Ku Chen, the young emperor instructed that all of them must be women. Wan Millet was afraid that she would not remember. You don't have to remind me. I haven't forgotten. Tang Bao glared at her friend. So you're hiring all women now? Wan Millet asked curiously. Who said so? Tang Bao showed them a recruitment notice on the table. There's no limit to men and women. Wan Millet looked at the piece of paper in surprise. The young emperor didn't tear it up for you? Would he dare? Tang Bao said proudly. Oh. Your wings have hardened. You can fly now. Wan Millet laughed. Are you here to laugh at me? Tang Bao was unhappy. No, is there? We're just telling the truth. Wan Millet asked Yu Lianlian. Are we telling the truth? Absolutely. Tang Bao really didn't want to talk about this topic with them. If she did, she would definitely lose completely. At this moment, is this Aibao Film and Television Studio? I'm here for an interview. A woman walked in and asked. Wan Millet and Yu Lianlian looked at each other and smiled. Tang Bao felt like he couldn't keep his face straight. This company name was registered by Di Haotian. She only found out about it afterward. Go ahead. We'll wait for you. Yu Lianlian winked at her. Tang Bao brought the woman to the office. After the interview, the woman left. Tang Bao walked out of the office. Yu Lianlian and Wan Millet were chatting there. How was it? Wan Millet asked. Chapter 846. Wow, you're quite good. Yu Lianlian admired her. Tang Bao took out her phone. I'll order some snacks and tea over. Let's talk while we eat. After the call, Tang Bao subconsciously put her phone on the table. She thought of something and quickly turned over. What are you hiding? We all saw it, Yu Lianlian said. Ha 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 ha. Wan Milei laughed until she was convulsing. Don't laugh, be careful not to faint. Tang Bao's face was red. She knew that leaving a photo like this would definitely cause her trouble. See, it had only been a day and she was already being laughed at. How many people would see her phone when she went to various events in the future? This is obviously the young emperor's masterpiece. Vice President Yu, you don't know, but the young emperor was like this in the past, extremely domineering. But my family's baby still insists on putting up a final struggle. Wan Milei was extremely happy. Anyone with eyes can definitely tell. Speaking of Di Haotian, Tang Bao remembered that she hadn't told Di Haotian about her coming to the studio. It shouldn't be a big problem, right? She had friends now, so it wasn't convenient. It was just a small matter. After they left, she would call Di Haotian and tell him. Oh right, when will you open for business? Aren't you going to let the employees work yet? Yu Lianlian asked. I've already set the time. When my artistes are about to finish filming, I'll let them work. Can save some money. Tang Bao said. Stingy. Wan Milei pursed her lips. What's wrong with being stingy? I know how to live. Tang Bao said confidently. This means that she already has the potential to be a boss. Because all bosses in the world are like this, trying to maximize their own benefits. Yu Lianlian expressed that she understood. Wan Milei was suddenly curious. The young emperor isn't as stingy as you, right? His status is much higher than the other bosses, right? Are you sure? Yu Lianlian asked. Isn't it? He gave money to the Tang Bao without batting an eyelid. He even gave her a gold-plated black card, which made her hands go numb from swiping it. She bought the brand. Like I told you before, Ling has long become the exclusive brand of the Tang Bao, Wan Milei said. I'm talking about business. Don't even think about taking advantage of him. He'll calculate every single cent for you. Previously, there was a small mistake in the budget and no one noticed it. Young Emperor looked over and directly scolded that person. Yu Lianlian said admiringly. Are you serious? I saw that he was so generous with the Tang Bao, so I thought he would be generous in other areas as well. That's because he dotes on Tang Bao. Naturally, he can't wait to give her all the good stuff. Besides, even if T was a small number, the final transaction would be worth hundreds of millions. How much less do you think it would be? The young master was as smart as a ghost. If you want to do something under his nose, you'll have to be tired of living. The Tang Bao was silent and didn't say anything. She didn't know about these things. She only heard about it from Yu Lianlian, including the fact that Di Haotian transferred T to her. When he gave her the black card in the past, T's foundation hadn't been transferred to her yet. That was because the Tang Qishan was still alive at that time. At that time, he was very generous. It should be said that from the moment she met Di Haotian, he was very generous. Transferring the emperor family's assets to her wasn't just being generous, it was almost as crazy as that. A normal person definitely wouldn't do it. Wait, if she spent money now, wouldn't it be equivalent to spending her own money? Should she be more stingy? She had afternoon tea with Wan Milei and Yu Lianlian. After they returned to the company, the Tang Bao immediately sent a text message to Di Haotian. She wanted to call. Yu Lianlian and Wan Milei were around just now, so it wasn't convenient for me to call you. After thinking about it, she deleted the typesetting and called Di Haotian directly. However, no one picked up when he made a call. What was going on? Was he busy? Hence, the Tang Bao thought that she would call him later. She asked him to call again later, but no one answered. Was Di Haotian that busy? But no matter how busy he was in the past, even if he was in a meeting, he would always pick up her call immediately. The Tang Bao couldn't get through, so she could only go to the tea office next door. She went straight to the floor where Di Haotian was. The office door was tightly shut. The Tang Bao knocked on the door, but no one answered. Was he not there? Just then, the secretary walked over and asked, "Is the young master here?" "He's in the office. He hasn't come out yet. Could he be asleep?" The Tang Bao muttered and pushed the door open. The Tang Bao thought that he was sleeping in the lounge, but when he looked, he saw Di Haotian lying lazily on the sofa with a cold expression on his face. His black eyes were cold. He didn't even look at the Tang Bao. His entire body was cold. And the phone was on the coffee table in front of him. The moment the Tang Bao saw this, he knew that Di Haotian was angry. His entire body was exuding a cold aura that kept people away. The Tang Bao pursed his lips, walked forward, and sat down beside Di Haotian. Di Haotian ignored him and looked straight ahead. "I'm sorry. Wan Malay and Yu Lianlian were there just now. It wasn't convenient for me to call you," the Tang Bao explained to him. "It wasn't convenient for you to call them when they were there?" Di Haotian's face was cold. The Tang Bao cursed in his heart. "Wasn't it just that I didn't call you? Did you have to be so angry?" It was as if he had committed a heinous crime. "Then I think I could have called you later," the Tang Bao said in confusion. "In other words, they are more important than me." Di Haotian's expression became even colder, and his black eyes were sharp. The Tang Bao bit his lip. Did this person have to be compared like this? "Di Haotian, are you jealous? Is it that hard to tell?" Di Haotian's black eyebrows were tightly knitted. "That's not it." The Tang Bao was a little choked. "You really have the guts to admit it. I'm here to apologize to you now, okay? I won't do it again." Di Haotian did not speak, but his expression did not improve because of the Tang Bao's apology. The Tang Bao did not know what to do. Di Haotian was really not easy to coax. Should she kiss him? Forget it, so be it. She did not want Di Haotian to be emitting cold air all the time. This was even scarier. The Tang Bao stood up. Di Haotian's black eyes darkened. She wanted to leave? He became even more irritable. However, in the next second, the Tang Bao directly pressed Di Haotian's body back against the back of the sofa. When Di Haotian raised his face slightly, she stared into his dark, deep, and sharp eyes. Then, the Tang Bao kissed his thin lip. It was not just a light kiss. The Tang Bao blushed, but she had to do this in order to make Di Haotian return to normal. Di Haotian felt his whole body tense up. The longer the kiss, the deeper Di Haotian's eyes became. It was extremely dangerous. However, he suppressed it and did not show that he was strongly affected. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.